Hello friends, welcome to Universe of Naruto X. If you love Naruto What If stories and anime explanations, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Now let's begin today's story. After the events of protecting Suna while killing Boy Dara and Suzori, arguing with the Konoha 12, Naruto and Tuya were both sprawled out in the bed with Tuya snoring as Naruto was playing in her hair. After their shower the previous night, Tuya was overly affectionate with Nar more than she usually is when they're alone, but he didn't mind. Nar was also thinking about the mission briefing he had with Sununade in an hour about the Tenny Bridge mission. While he didn't doubt Suzori was lying, he couldn't shake the feeling of something going wrong on this mission. Truthfully, he'd feel better if Kakashi was on the team because after him, Kakashi is the strongest jonin in the village. His years of training with Jiraiya made him think of different possibilities. The main one was the possibility of Orochimaru showing up and ruining the entire thing. While he knew that he could take on Orochimaru by himself, it would still be difficult due to Orochimaru's ability to get out of sticky situations with ease. When Nei woke up last night, Ten explained to him what happened, and they left to go back to her house. Neji would forever be in Naruto's debt, and he would personally apologize to Tuya for the way he was forced to treat her. He knew he would have to tell Hiashi about this, but he'd deal with the consequences for whatever they may be. Him being a free bird meant that he could do a lot more now that he's no longer held back by the seal. Nar stopped thinking about that and woke up to Yuya. Hey, wake up. We've got that meeting with Granny. Nar said and she groaned. Give me 5 more minutes. Your tongue brought me so many orgasms last night and my legs are still numb. Tuya said, I'll give you a massage when we get back. Besides, after this, we still have 4 more days to relax before we leave. You can sleep all you want. Get up, Nar said. I don't want to, Tuya mumbled. Fine, I guess I'll take a shower by myself. Nar said, what about me? Tuya asked. You'll have to shower alone. You said you wanted to sleep some more. If you get up, then you can join me. Nar said, will there be kisses involved in this shower? Tuya asked. There's only one way to find out. Plus, if you're lucky, you may get a repeat of last night, Nar said, and her eyes snapped open. Let's go, Tuya said and ran into the bathroom. I thought her legs were numb. Nar mumbled. Hurry thee up. I can't wait any longer. Tuya said, yeah, here I come. Nar said, you'll be doing that as well. Tuya said and threw her clothes out of the bathroom. Well, time to satisfy my girlfriend, Naruto said. Hurry up, Tuya yelled. Hokage office 2 hours later. Do you two want to tell me why you're over an hour late? Asked, and Tuya smirked. Sure. This lovely hunk of a man was sticking his tongue deep inside of me, making me scream his name while I had his gigantic meat stick down my throat. Tuya said, causing Tsunade to pinch her nose, while Sakura and Shizune had major blushes on their faces. I don't even know why I bothered to ask, Tsunade said. Stop being so nosy. Hey Sakura, you've got some blood coming from your nose. Nar said and she quickly wiped it away. Don't worry, Pinky. There's always room for an extra. Just imagine what he can do with his shadow clones and 2 women, Tuya said. And Sakura passed out from a massive nosebleed. I feel like you treat me as if I was a prostitute sometimes. Nar said, don't worry about it. The only person you'll be is me. I do this mainly for jokes and it's funny every single time. Tuya said, okay, that's enough about your life. Shizune, can you wake Sakura up for me? Asked. Of course, Shizune said and placed some smelling salts under Sakura's nose, instantly waking her up. I'm up, Sakura yelled and wiped her nose. So, when do we get started? Nar asked. We're just waiting on one more person. Who is it? Nar asked. And then a knock was heard on the door. Come in, Sununade said. And an Anbu walked in. A member of the Anbu. Sakura thought. Well, that was fast, Sununade said. I heard it was a matter of great urgency. The Anbu said, I assume you know why you've been summoned here. Said, I have a general idea. The Anbu said, Kakashi's out and I want you to take over his team. Sununade said, it would be an honor to work in Kakashi's stand, my lady. The Anbu said, good. Now, this isn't a normal Anbu Black Ops mission. You're going on a regular assignment, so you can take off the mask. I'll be giving you a code name. During the mission, you'll be known as Yamato, Tsunade said. And the Anbu removed his mask. Yes, I understand, Yamato said. Good. Now, the mission is as follows. You 4 are to go to the Tenny Bridge in 4 days to rendezvous with Suzori's spy. Get any information you can from him and then leave. You were specifically chosen for this mission due to your unique abilities. What does that mean? Nar asked, do you mind if I tell them? Asked, not at all. Yumato said, Yumato, here is a result of Orochimaru and his experiment on trying to recreate my grandfather's infamous wood-style Keek Jenk. Yumato possesses the wood-style Kek Jenk so he can replicate Caesar's puppet body with relative ease. Aide said, you wouldn't happen to have an arm made of Hashiyama Senju's DNA, would you? Tuya asked, no, I do not. Yamato said, damn. Tuya said something isn't right or something is missing from this mission. Nar said your training with Jiraiya has paid off. There's another reason why he was selected for this mission. As you know, a user of the wood-style Keek Jenk has the ability to suppress a tailed beast. Yamato was chosen for that select reason. However, he already knows you can control about 4 or 5 tails of 9 tails chakra, but you do not need it. While me, Elders Kaharu and Homier were on board with a different John and going on the mission, Danzo was being stubborn against it, and we needed to appease him in order to get this mission started. It was either Yamato or a shinobi of his choosing. Said, I see. Nar said, I must admit that I'm impressed with your ability to withstand 4 to 5 tails of 9 tails chakra. To be completely honest, I don't think my wood style would work on anything higher than the 4th tail. I may have the wood style Kek Jenk, but it pales in comparison to somebody who was actually born with it. Yamato said, I can give you some tips on how to strengthen your wood style. You aren't the only one in possession of that. Keek Jenk said, I'm not. Who else has the wood style? Yamato asked. Me, of course. I was able to suppress Nar easily once when he accidentally used 4 tails in a spar with me and Jera before he left to train. Anyway, you leave in 4 days to reach Kusa and then get to the Teni Bridge. Sununade said, why are we leaving so late? With that amount of time off, we'll miss the spy at the bridge. Yamato said, Nar has the transportation covered. Said, there's a toad that specializes in speed and can travel through the forest without being hurt or detected. He is about the size of the house. So we can all travel on him while he speeds through the thick trees in the Konoha forest and in Kusa. Nar said, how fast is he? Yumato said, his name isn't Shinkosu for nothing. Nar said, I see. Yamato said. And then there was a knock on the door. Enter, Sunady said. And then Danzo walked in holding a file. Hey, look, it's the Oneid pedophile. How's the empty eye socket? Naruto asked and smirked as Danzo narrowed his eye at him. Naruto, that's enough. What can I do for you? Danzo asked. It has come to my attention that you are sending a group of shinobi out on an S-rank mission. Danzo said, don't play stupid, Danzo. What do you want? Asked. I have a shinobi that I wish to add into the ranks, and this mission would be perfect to get him started. Danzo said and gave a folder that she looked through. Wow, I can smell your underscore from over here. Tuya said, no, that's just his natural scent. Nar said, and Tuya laughed. You're right. I forgot once you reach his age, you start to smell bad. Tuya said, and they broke out into a laughing fit. Sheesh. These two are a match made in heaven. Sakura thought, that's enough from you two, Danzo. While I appreciate the offer, this mission already has enough people. We have all areas covered. 2 medics, a genjutsu specialist, enjutsu specialist, and an all-around cage-level shinobi. Sununade said and gave him back the folder. I was unaware that we had a cage-level shinobi within the Ambu. Danzo said, she's talking about Naruto, you dusty bag of bones. Tuya said, can you two be professional? Asked and glared at them. Sorry, Lady Hokage, Nar said, and they both bowed with huge grins on their faces. Anyway, Tuya is right. Naruto is a cage-level shinobi. A cage-level shinobi with little to no experience. Danzo said, I've done at least 15 A-rank missions while I was out training with Jiraiya and maybe Shrank missions. I've already beaten the strongest John in this village has to offer. However, if you need to see for yourself, I'd be more than happy to give you a personal demonstration. Nar said that won't be necessary. Nar, if that is all, you're dismissed, Danzo, Sunady said. Very well, Danzo said and looked at Naruto who instantly activated his Hishigan. You really want to try that again? Nar asked. I don't know what you mean, Danzo said and walked out. I was unaware of you having a dojutsu, Yamato said. And then Naruto threw 3 kunai into the ceiling, causing 3 dead bodies to fall to the ground. Yeah, it's called the Hishigan and that's all I will say about it for now. Nar said and Yamato nodded. He's just going to act like he didn't kill 3 people. Sakura thought, understandable, lady, who will be in charge of this mission? Yumato asked. You will. You have the most experience leading a squad thanks to your time in the Anbu. I shouldn't have to tell you this, but there's a chance Orochimaru will show up. When he does, Naruto will be the one who has to fight him. He can match Orochimaru in Enjutsu and Taijutsu. Said, plus, I need to get him back for what happens during the Chunin exams. Nar said, oh yeah, I remember that. Sakura said, what happened during the Chunin exams? Tuya asked, that son of a underscore, slapped a 5-pronged seal on me, and it almost cost me the Chunin exams if I never would have met the pervert. Nar said make sure you get some good hits in for me. Tuya said you got it. Nar said my lady if I may. Sakura said go ahead. Sununade said is it possible for us to try and get Sasaki if he's there? Sakura asked if you may try to find Sasaki Uchiha and bring him back. You have full reign to use force if necessary. Said thank you my lady. Sakura said, alright, you're all dismissed. Actually, Naruto, you stay back. Sununade said, I'll be in bed. Tuya said and vanished. I'll start packing, Sakura said and left while Yumato just vanished. So, what's up? Nar asked. I want you to keep your sensing ability on high alert when you leave the village. I'm sure Danzo will send somebody to follow your squad. He has an ulterior motive for trying to get somebody on this mission. Said, if I capture him, then what? Nar asked, kill him. If he has any files on him, I want you to grab them and bring them back to me. Sununade said, alright, Granny. Nar said, oh, and make sure Tuya keeps her temper in check. If Orochimaru or Kabuto show up, one of them is bound to try and get her riled up. Said, I will. I've got that handled. Nar said, I'm sure you do. I forgot to tell you this, but when you get back, Kakashi wants to talk to you about some kind of training to help you create an ultimate jutsu that only you will be able to use. Said, sweet. I'll see you later. Nar said and vanished. Tenny Bridge. Alright, we're here. I just need to get into my disguise. Yamato said and used his wood style to create his disguise. Alright, that's exactly what he looked like. Now just make your voice all raspy and deep. Tiyuya said like this. Yumato asked in a different voice. Little bit. Try again. Tuya said like this. Yumato asked. That's perfect Toya said. Listen up. Our opponents will be on alert. So I want us to split up. We'll have to work as a team. Nar. If Orochimaru shows up, then he's all yours. Yamato said he's already here, but he's hanging back. We were also followed when we left the Leaf Village, but whoever it is hasn't moved since we stopped. Nar said, what should we do? Sakura asked. After this, we go after whoever it is. Yamato said, actually, I have a better idea. We use him as bait. Nar said, how will we do that? Sakura asked, whoever it is must be waiting for Orochimaru to show up. What I'm thinking is I lure Orochimaru away from the fight and draw out whoever it is that's following us. If this person is really trying to get in contact with Orochimaru, then we follow him to his base. Once we're there, we can grab info on anything important, kill whoever is following us, and potentially capture Sasuke. Nar said, how will we be able to track them? No doubt Orochimaru can make a quick escape to his base. Yamato said, I have a jutsu that was created by the spy toads. I can create a link of sorts with the toad to see and hear whatever it does. The distance between the toad and summoner has no limits. The toad I have in mind is really good at staying hidden and keeping his chakra levels basically non-existent. Nar said, that's quite impressive. How many of these toads can you do that with? Yumato asked. Only one at a time. I tried it with more than one, and the headache wasn't worth it. Nar said, there's just one problem. The summoning jutsu takes a lot of chakra. We'd be detected in seconds. Sakura said, that's why I've already summoned the toad, and it's staying hidden while remaining close to me so I can guide it to where it needs to go. Nar said, alright, I'll give you the signal when it's time to come out. Yumato said and walked to the bridge. Yumato, you weren't followed, were you? Sori asked. No, I still have that strange sensation from when I remembered who I was after you broke that jutsu. The spy said, I've got some questions for you. Sori said, I don't have much time, so please keep it short. I risked my life to get here without Orochimaru finding out. The spy said, I want information on the location of his hideout and the whereabouts of Sasaki Uchiha. Sasori said, we're in a hideout on a small island on a lake to the north. We'll be moving again in 3 days. The spy said, what of Sasaki Uchi, is he there as well? Sasori asked, sounding a bit desperate. Nar to Yuya Sakura. Damn it, Yamato. Relax. You're going to blow your cover. Sounding desperate. Nar whispered to himself for an ambu. He really sucks at this. I'm guessing this is his first time having to do something like this. Tuya whispered. Naruto, there's a chance to get Sasuke. Will you please keep him alive if you fight? Sakura asked. I'll see what I can do. Naruto said. Yumato and the spy. Meanwhile, on the bridge, a noise was heard in a bush behind the spy. They turned around and it was just a rabbit. False alarm. I thought it was Orochimaru. It's just a rabbit. By the way, about what you ordered me to do, Lord Sasori. Even after his reincarnation, Orochimaru uses a jutsu to protect the cellular specimens from his discarded body, and I was not able to analyze the cellular data. The spy said, I see. Sasori said, now, please hand over the item you promised me. I've been here long enough as is. If Orochimaru finds out I'm here, I'll be killed. The spy said. Yamato pulled out a kunai ready to kill the spy, but was cut off by Orochimaru showing up. Interesting conversation. I hope you two don't mind me showing up and joining in the fun. He said, so, he's here. I wasted too much time. Yamato thought as Orochimaru stared at him. A snake started to coil around the spy, but he jumped away and landed next to Yamato. The spy revealed himself to none other than Kabuto himself. Lord Sasori, if you hadn't pulled out that kana, I wouldn't have been able to get away from him in time. Kabuto said, I lucky it looks like he misunderstood. I guess my cover hasn't been blown yet. However, Orochimaru is here now. Yamato thought, I remember that garb. It sure brings back memories, Sasori. Orochimaru said, so, you followed him, did you? Sasori asked, I just wanted to thank you in person, Sasori. After all, you're the one who sent this kid to me, and he's come in very handy. Orochimaru said, I can't call them out yet. I need to wait a bit longer. Yamato thought. Kabuto gathered chakra to his hand and then cut through Yamato's disguise and cut him slightly on the arm. Yamato jumped into the air, leaving the disguise, and the spy jumped back to Orochimaru's side. Did he know who I was? No, that's impossible. What's going on here? Yamato thought. Multiple striking shadow snakes. Orochimaru sent multiple snakes from his arm at Yamato and wrapped him up, but he substituted himself with a wood dummy. That was a wood-style substitution. Interesting. You must be Orochimaru didn't finish. Lord Orochimaru, is that Sasori's real body? The spy asked. No, that's definitely not Kasori. Kabuto, don't tell me after all this time as his faithful servant, you haven't seen his real body. Orochimaru said, he always hid behind those ugly puppets of his. Kabuto said, what is the meaning of this? Kabuto, you were supposed to be an Akatsuki spy. You should have been under the control of Sasori's jutsu this whole time. Yamato said, not anymore, Lord Orochimaru broke that jutsu long ago. Kabuto said, so, you pretended to be under Kasar's jutsu while you turned traitor. Or did Orochimaru use his power to change you? Yamato asked. Nope. I actually empathize with Orochimaru's ideals. Who are you anyway? I've never seen you around the Leaf Village. The plan was to kill Kasori, but somebody already beat us to it. Kabuto said, I can tell you about him. Kabuto. He was the only survivor, it seems, from when I was experimenting with the first Hogue's DNA. I assumed all of the test subjects died. So, I abandoned the lab. Apparently, they found him in my lab alive and decided not to kill him and use his abilities later for their Jinchuriki. Now that we have that out of the way, why don't you call out those two rats hiding behind you in the bushes? Orochimaru said, 2, it should be 3. Which one is gone? Yamato thought as signaled for his team to come out, but only Sakura and Tuya appeared. Well, look who it is. Kabuto said, surprised to see me, Needle. Tuya asked. I honestly can say I didn't see this coming. Lord Orochimaru, I thought you said she was dead. You couldn't find any trace of her curse mark. Kabuto said, that's because I had that underscore removed after the mission to bring this pedophile his new boy toy. It's amazing how life is when you don't have to worry about the two of you trying some sick experiment on me when I'm sleeping. Tuya said, it's impossible to remove the curse mark. Not even Jiraiya should be able to remove it. Clearly, she must be joking. Orochimaru thought and tried to activate Taya's curse mark, but nothing happened. I see. I would like to know the name of this person who managed to remove my curse mark. Orochimaru said, he'll tell you the same thing he told me. There isn't a seal in the world an Uzumaki can't handle. Tuya said the Nenettle's brat. Of course, I'm surprised he's not here. I thought any mission regarding Sasaki would surely involve him. Kabuto said, where is Sasaki? Sakura asked. There's the reaction I was hoping for. You should learn to give up when you can. Sasaki doesn't want to go back to the Hidden Leaf. Kabuto said, wow, he must enjoy getting railed by the two of you at night if he doesn't want to leave. I still can't believe he came to you for power. I mean, it's no secret that he wants to kill Itachi, but why go to somebody who lost to Itachi in seconds when he was only 15? You won't really get much help from somebody like that. Tuya said, what? He lost to Itachi? Sakura asked. He sure did. You leave a lot of papers and journals laying around your base. I found that one and read it. Looking a Sharingan user in the eye is the dumbest underscore you can do. He was going to kill you had Kabuto not gotten involved. Tuya said, wait a minute. The way people talk about Orochimaru makes it seem as if he's the strongest of the legendary Sannin. Sakura said, please, the pervert can defeat him if he really wanted to. Hell, Lady could probably beat him as well. Tuya said and Orochimaru off. Kabuto, kill her. Orochimaru said. Of course, Kabuto said. But then Nar appeared. Hello, Orochimaru. Nar said, the Ninetales Jinchuriki finally shows up. Orochimaru said, Kabuto, did you miss me? Last time we saw each other, you interfered in my mission to grab Sasaki before he fell into your hands. How is my old teammate? Nar asked. Nar Kabuto said and grit his teeth. What's with the angry look? It wouldn't happen to be because of the time when I kicked your before, would it? Nar asked. If I remember correctly, you were the one on the ground bleeding, clinging to your pathetic life. Kabuto said, true, but I vaguely remember Orochimaru needing to help you move. While I was still conscious, you couldn't even move. So, Snake Face, ready for round 2. Nar asked. You'll have to get through me first. Kabuto said and ran at Naruto with a kanny out, but Tuya appeared in front of him. Hello, Tuya said. She's fast, Kabuto thought. And then Tuya gave him a chakra-enhanced punch, sending him flying away. That felt so good, Tuya said. Seems like you've improved a bit over the years. One of my most trusted guards has betrayed me and joined the enemy. Orochimaru said, they weren't my enemies. I just did my job to keep a roof over my head. Tuya said, oh, does Naruto know that you assisted in the death of the third Hokage? Orochimaru asked, I do, and I simply don't give a dead. Nar said, something's not right. He's a lot more serious, and the look in his eyes reminds me of his father. Could it be that he surpassed him? No, that's impossible. I'll deal with him, and then I'll deal with the other ones. Orochimaru thought, I'll humor you. If you want to fight, then by all means, I'll show you your place. Orochimaru said, and Naruto appeared in front of him. I thought you'd never ask, Naruto said and punched him away, then gave chase. What should we do? Sakura asked. We guard Kabuto. He's slippery, so don't let your guard down for a split second or he's gone. Yamato said, what about our loose end? Tuya asked, I'm sure he's already being followed by a toad. Yamato said, Pinky, let me ask you something. Tuya said, sure. Sakura said, let's say we do find Sasuke. Will you be able to fight him if necessary? Tuya asked, I don't know. That's why I requested this to see if I have what it takes to bring him back by force. Sakura said, good answer. Tuya said, Nar versus Orochimaru. Meanwhile, Naruto is fighting Orochimaru in a taijutsu fight after having caught up to him. Orochimaru already had to shed his skin twice. He ducked a roundhouse kick from Naruto and threw 6 punches at Naruto, who easily dodged them thanks to him using his training with Jiraiya. Orochimaru hasn't landed a decisive hit since the fight started. It wasn't going as he thought it would since Naruto was actually fighting him on even ground. He jumped back from Nar and called out a jutsu. Formation of 10,000 snakes. 10,000 snakes with swords sticking out of their mouths all charged at Nar, who gathered wind chakra and pulled water from the air. Ice-style frozen capturing field. Nar froze the entire ground and the ice made all of the snakes slow down due to the cold temperature. Naruto used his wind style, holy rotating wind blades with his flame tornado jutsu and threw in a few explosive tags as well to destroy all of the snakes. An explosion happened and Naruto blew away the smoke with his wind chakra to check out the damage, and he wasn't disappointed. He saw Orochimaru come out of the ground and he was breathing heavily since he was nearly caught in that explosion. What's the matter? Orochimaru. Are you tired? Nar asked. It's impossible. He should not be able to face me on even ground after only 3 years. I will admit that he was close to being a Jonin-level shinobi last time I saw him, but he should not be able to take on an S-rank shinobi such as myself. His growth is unnatural, Orochimaru thought and activated his slithering snake mode. Tell me, Nar, how were you able to get this strong in only 3 years? Orochimaru asked. I did lots of sit-ups and drank plenty of juice. Naro said brat. Orochimaru thought with his new ability to move at greater speeds. Orochimaru quickly closed the distance using his slithering snake mode and then gave Naruto a strong punch to the face. Orochimaru followed it up with a barrage of chakra-enforced punches and elbow strikes. The barrage of attacks sent Naruto flying away into some trees, but he quickly recovered and cut Orochimaru in half with his chakra blades that were coated in wind chakra. Suddenly, snakes came from both halves of Orochimaru's body and pulled them back together, healing Orochimaru of any sign of damage. Nice trick, Naruto said, and wiped blood from his mouth. How about you stop playing games and fight me with your actual strength? I've got many years of experience under my belt to know when somebody is holding back. Orochimaru said, you asked for it. Nar said, it's been quite some time since I've been in a good fight. I'm starting to regret not going after the Ninetales Gentry. Orochimaru thought. 7 heavenly breaths. First activation. Second activation. Third activation. Fourth activation. The fourth activation sharpens Naruto's eyesight to allow complete clarity even at a distance. Naruto's physique is notably improved. So now his maximum power exceeded his body's normal 100% power. He boosted his reflexes to keep up with his newfound prowess as well, due to the technique's overall bolstering effect. As his power grows, so does his aura expand to take on a fiercer appearance. Fifth activation. The fifth activation further increases Naruto's speed and strength. The aura he produced is now as fierce as a bonfire from how much air has been infused into his body. His aura is so strong that it can now be manipulated, either focused to specific points and released in bursts to make even simpler strikes explosively powerful or wrapped around the body to protect from attacks. However, both moves require a draining focused expenditure of power, thus naturally shortening the duration of the mode. Well, this is interesting. The Ninetales thought, his power is incredible. I can see why he challenged me by himself. Orochimaru thought. Nar took one step and then disappeared. To Orochimaru, it sounded like an explosion happened, but that was just Nar breaking the sound barrier as he reached Mach speeds. All Orochimaru felt was a kick to the chin, and before he could react, he was on his back, looking at the sky, completely dazed. Naruto was running so fast that not even a fully matured Sharingan would be able to track him. Orochimaru shed his skin, but it was pointless since Naruto pummeled him into the ground again. Moon Dance Barrage. Nar charges at Orochimaru and elbows him in the face that sends him flying away. Nar quickly appeared in front of Orochimaru, then started to attack him with a powerful barrage of kicks and punches, ending with a heavy punch to his stomach. While Orochimaru was lying on the ground paralyzed from the assault, Naruto threw him in the air and jumped up higher than he threw Orochimaru. When Naruto was at his highest point, he released all of activations when he used all of the air in his lungs to use the wind-style pressure damage jutsu on Orochimaru that sent him crashing to the ground where he left a hole to see where his body hit. After a while, Orochimaru climbed out of the ground and shed his skin once more, but he was still breathing heavily. To think he's able to do this much damage to me without using his dojutsu. I've already shed my skin too many times and this body is starting to reject me. I need to retreat, but I can't let him follow me. Orochimaru thought, looks like you're about to pass out over there. What's the matter? I thought you wanted a fight. Nar said, I must say that I was taken by surprise. I never would have thought you'd put up this much of a fight. The 7 heavenly breaths is a technique that rivals the 8 inner gates, and nobody has ever been able to go past the 3rd activation. You truly are a fine specimen. If it wasn't for that 9 tails in your gut, I would have given you the curse mark as well. Orochimaru said, sorry, but I'd prefer if you didn't give me a hickey on my neck. Nar said and gathered lightning chakra to his hand before tossing it up into the air. What's he planning? Orochimaru thought. A little parting gift for you, Naruto said, and the sky turned dark as clouds started to form. I can't get hit with that, Orochimaru thought and slammed his hands on the ground. Summoning Jutsu Triple Rashman. 3 gates appeared with faces on them. The first gate was red, the second was green, and the third was blue. The first gate takes the attack head-on. The second reduces the attack's power and the third disperses the pressure causing all attacks that come in contact with it to lose their power before they can be effective. Orochimaru braced himself behind the gates. Rain's wrath. Lightning started to rain down on the battlefield and obliterated Orochimaru's gates. The attack lasted for about 10 seconds before it stopped and a huge smoke cloud was all you could see. Nar blew away the smoke with the help of a few shadow clones and he saw nothing but a huge crater. Looks like I won, Nar said and vanished. Nar, hey guys, Nar said as he appeared next to them. Are you okay? Tuya asked and started to heal him. Yeah, I'm fine. Back hurts a bit because he sent me flying through a couple of trees. Nar said, just because he's old doesn't mean he's weak. He is one of the legendary Sonin for a reason. Sakura said, yeah. Nar said, what happened at the end? All I saw was dark clouds and then lightning hitting the earth. Yamato said, it's one of my powerful jutsu. Trust me, the area looks a lot worse than you think. Nar said, I bet. Yamato said, where's Kabuto? Nar asked. He's escaped thanks to the shockwave of your jutsu. Sakura said, that's okay. We can track him with the toad Naruto summoned earlier. Did it find anything? Yamato asked, and they noticed his eyes were like a toad's. Yeah, the person following us gave Orochimaru a folder that seemed important. The toad is following them from a safe distance. We can leave now, but we have to keep our distance from them. Nar said, all right, you heard him. Let's move. Yamato said, hidden base. So, this is the base. Sakura asked as they looked at the entrance. Yeah, I've been here before. Tiyuya said, we need to split up. Tuya and Naruto, you two look around for anything important we can use. Sakura, you're with me on finding Sasuke Uchiha. The seeds I had you all eat on our way here is a way for us to communicate. Just hold your hand to your left ear while using a small amount of chakra and I can hear what you're saying. Remember, stealth is key here, Nar. I know I don't have to worry about you due to your training with Lord Jiraiya and your history with pranking the village without getting caught by the Anbu. Yamato said, what about me and Pinky? Tuya asked. I've heard the two of you get a bit hot-headed during stealth missions and nearly failed a few of them. Just follow me and Naruto's lead. Let's go. Yamato said, and they split up, Naruto and Tuya. So, where exactly are you taking us? Naruto asked as he was following Tuya to a room that should give us enough help with our problems. This is it, Tuya said, but Naruto grabbed her before she could open the door. Then they turned invisible. What is it? Tuya whispered and Nar pointed to Kabuto, who walked out of the room. That's what. Let's go, Nar said, and they went inside the room. Look at this, Tuya said and gave Naro a folder. It's the folder the guy gave Orochimaru. Nar said and opened it. What is it? Tuya asked. It's filled with some of the Ambu from our village, their names, skills, and their real identities with the mask they wear. I don't know what Danzo had planned or wanted in exchange for this, but I'm going to kill him after I kill his little pawn. Nar said, no, don't kill him. Capture the pawn instead. Let's make Danzo sweat and expose him to the world first. Tuya said, I don't think anybody would care if Danzo gave away information about our Anbu. Naruto said, what about illegal dealings in other countries, child abduction, and assisting in the downfall of Uzumaki after making false reports? Tuya asked as she was looking through reports. What was that last one? Naruto asked. He was part of the reason Uzumaki was destroyed. He sent false reports to Iowa, Kumo, and Kiri to have them destroyed. Tuya said, all of this is just making me want to kill him even more. I just want to know why Orochimaru has this information. Nar said, blackmail. Let's say Danzo tries to betray Orochimaru or do something Orochimaru doesn't like. Orochimaru can leak this information to the world and have Danzo on the run for the rest of his life. Tuya said, well, he's about to be on the run now. Even Granny will be after him. Nar said as he picked up a folder and read the contents of it. What do you mean? Is it because she's part Uzumaki? Tuya asked. Yes. In this we found out who has the arm made of Hashiyama Senju DNA. Orochimaru gave it to Danzo. He didn't go into detail as to what he needed it for, but from the way it was carefully created, it must be for something big. Nar said. And then an explosion happened. Looks like somebody found your former teammate. Tiyuya said, well, it wasn't Sakura or Yamato, that's for sure. Nar said, how do you know? Tuya asked as they sealed away what they found and ran towards the explosion because she would have yelled his name and her voice noted so screechy that it's impossible to not hear it. Nar said, I guess you're right. Tuya said, explosion site. Whoa, look at this. Somebody must have woken up on the wrong side of the bed. Naruto said as he and Tuya arrived. Either that or somebody's mad you beat up Orochimaru and they can't let him fondle his nuts tonight. Tiyuya said, do you two ever take things seriously? Sakura asked, only things that should cause us to worry. Tuya said, well, Naruto, you came here as well. Sasuke said, oh, hey, it's the little boy who couldn't get strong fast enough, so he ran to somebody who's weaker than Itachi. Nar said, I see Kakashi is here. Sasaki said, unfortunately, Kakashi wasn't able to make it. I'm here in his place. Yamato said, why are you worried about Kakashi? Did you want a team reunion? I can make a shadow clone and have it turn into Kakashi for you. Naruto said, I can't with these two. Sakura thought. Team Kakashi. Sasaki said and looked at Tuya who looked familiar. The air you looking at? You're not my type and your hair is shaped like a duck's. Tuya said, seriously, Tuya? Sakura asked. So that girl's my replacement. I thought the team already had a weakling. Sasaki said, how about we fight and I can show you how weak I am. I mean, I already kicked your 3 years ago, or do you not remember? Tuya asked. Don't do that. He'd be too embarrassed that he lost to his superior. Nar said, who's your friend? Sasaki asked and pointed to a pale-skinned boy. Don't know him, but thanks for reminding me about him. Tuya, if you'd please, Nar said. Sure thing, handsome, Tuya said and appeared behind the person, then knocked him out. Trust me, his time on this team is limited. As for the bond between us, that's over with. Nar said, Sasuke, why did you leave? You started to understand having friends and creating bonds was a good thing. Sakura said, you're right. I did understand. That is why I severed them. You see, I have a different bond now. Between my older brother and me, it's the bond of hatred. Having too many ties in this world will only lead you astray. It weakens one's ambition, distracts you from what truly matters. Sasaki said. Then why didn't you kill Sakura the night you left? You could have killed her and broke the bond between you two. Wait a minute. You actually like her, don't you? Nar asked. The reason is simple. It's not that I couldn't break our bond, Nar. I was simply doing as my older brother had done before me. It was nothing more than a strategy to gain power. That day when I left her there, I only spared her life on a whim. Nothing more, Sasuke said and appeared next to Nar. He's fast, Yamato thought. How did he do that? Sakura thought. So, you still haven't unlocked it yet. Such a shame. You'll never be at Itachi's level. You'll never reach your goal in life. Nar said, please. He's so far off from Itachi's level. It's not even funny. This is a guy who killed his clan at 13 and defeated Orochimaru without even trying at 15. Sasuke is nowhere close to defeating him. Tuya said his dream to kill Itachi is so well known and I bet everyone is hoping he fails. Nar said, wasn't it you who always dreamed about becoming Hokage? We're a lot alike in regards to our dreams. We'd both do anything to achieve it. Wouldn't you agree? Nar Sake asked. That is true that I always dreamt about becoming Hokage. However, I wouldn't do anything to become Hokage except prove myself with my own accomplishments. Things can change on a whim. So, I have another goal in life. You left Sakura alive on a whim. Isn't that right, Sasaki? Nar asked. That's cute. This time, my whim is telling me to finish what I started. Sasaki said as he pulled out his sword and attempted to stab Nar, but he was stopped by another Naruto who grabbed his wrist while another had a kunai at his throat while Tuya had a kunai placed at his heart. Naruto's so fast I didn't even see him create a clone or use any chakra. Tuya is faster than Sasaki as well. I thought she was a medic and genjutsu specialist. Yamato thought that block you selected was the correct one. Sasaki said and activated his sharing. All right, Yamato said and made a hand sign sending wood at Sasaki who countered. Chidori stream. Sasaki let out a wave of lightning all around him and it sent Naruto's clone flying back destroying it. Nar was unaffected since he channeled wind chakra around his body to cancel out the effects of the lighting. Yamato's wood jutsu was destroyed. Sakura channeled chakra into her hand and took off running at Sasaki. Sasaki prepared his sword and went to cut Sakura in half. But Yamato jumped in front of her and tried to stop Sasuke's sword with a kunai. To his amazement, the kunai wasn't effective as it went right through the sword and Sasuke managed to stab him in the shoulder while channeling lighting chakra through his sword. Captain Yamato Sakura said, the block that you chose was the incorrect one. My snake sword is somewhat special. It's impossible to block. Sasaki said, my body's going numb. He's running the Chidori through his sword. It hones the blade to the utmost sharpness and it paralyzes as it cuts. Yamato thought and Sasaki then looked Nar in his eyes, but Naruto's Hishigan was activated. Sorry, but those eyes won't work. Nar said and kicked Sasaki away. To Yuya, help Sakura heal Yamato. Nar said, I wanted to kick his. Tuya said and walked over to Yamato. I clearly outmatch you, so just give up and come with us. Nar said, yours pissing me off. Sasaki said as he went through hand signs and was about to use a jutsu, but his arm was grabbed. I wouldn't bother with that jutsu. Be smart now. Orochimaru said, hey, Orochimaru, are you back for the tiebreaker? Nar asked the Ninetales brat. How did he find my base? To Yuya, of course. Orochimaru thought. Let go. Sasaki said. Now I'm not going to tell you again. Watch your tone with Lord Orochimaru. Kabuto said as he appeared. Oh, look. It's the number on for Orochimaru. Tuya said and Kabuto ignored her, but she saw his eye twitch a little. Give me a reason to stop. Sasaki said, you do remember the Akatsuki are on the move now, don't you? We want the good people of the Leaf Village to get rid of them for us. As many of them as possible. If the other Akatsuki interfere, then you might not get your precious revenge. Kabuto said, that's a pitiful excuse. Sasaki said, but if it helps your chances by even 1 small percent, then it's worth it. Agreed. Kabuto asked, and Sasaki relaxed his hand, causing Orochimaru to release his grip. You know, Sasuke, you'd have a better chance fighting Itachi if you were with me. Itachi is after me, so I'd assume I'll run into him before you do. Nar said, we're leaving, Orochimaru said, and they went up in flames. Oh well, looks like they got away. Nar said, why didn't you stop him, Nar? He was right there, Sakura said. Because he's not a priority on this mission. We did what we needed to do and got a lot more than we expected. Nar said as he sealed the body of the spy. Let's go back to the Leaf Village, Yamato said and started to walk away with Naruto. Pinky, how much do you love Sasaki? Is it genuine love or some schoolyard fangirl crush? Tuya asked. I don't know anymore. I mean, you saw that I tried dating before and it didn't work out. Sakura said, yeah, that was an epic fail. Tuya said, gee, thanks. Sakura said, I only asked because I want to know if you hate Naruto if he were to kill Sasuke. They'll fight eventually, and we both know that. Tuya said, I know. I don't really know to be completely honest. I mean, part of me wants Naruto to bring him back, but part of me is trying to forget about Sasaki. Sakura said, I see. Thanks for the information, Tuya said. Leaf Village Hokage office. I see. Then Sununade said as they just told her about the mission. Will that be all, Lady Ad? Sakura asked. Yes, Nar to Yuya stay behind. Yamato and Sakura may leave. Tsunade said yes ma'am. Sakura said and left with Yamato. Then Sununade dismissed her ambu so she could seal the room. What happened to the spy? Asked and Naruto pulled out a scroll. I sealed him inside of this. He's not dead at all. Tuya convinced me to keep him alive. Naruto said, why? Asked, because if we were to kill him, then we wouldn't have any evidence that Danzo sent him to Orochimaru. We wanted to see if it's the same person on the file Danzo gave you. If we were to kill him, then he'd easily be able to deny sending a spy to Orochimaru so he could give him that folder, Tuya said. And Nar unsealed the body. Yeah, that's the person from the file he showed me. Did you find anything important in the base? Asked and Nar resealed the body. We found more than what we thought we would, Nar said and unsealed the folders they took. There's some freaky underscore in there. You're going to be pissed from what you see. Tuya said and skimmed through the folders. Is this real? Yeah, I figured Orochimaru kept all of this to blackmail Danzo just in case he tried to back out of a deal or something. Tuya said. Danzo is a dead man. Said, actually, let's make him sweat it out. Tuya said, I'm listening. Said, call a council meeting and expose him in front of everyone. Those files are heavily detailed and would turn everyone against him. Let him become a rogue ninja and worry about everyone trying to kill him. Use the spy to your advantage. Have Danzo give you the file on the person he tried to have join us, show it to the council, and then try to arrest him. Knowing him, he'll flee the village. It's not like he can give out any secrets since you've changed everything around and kept it locked in your office behind a blood seal. Nar said, I like that plan. I'd love nothing more than to kill him myself, but this works even better. Said, don't worry. I'm sure we'll see Danzo again in the future. He's obsessed with becoming Hokage, so I'm sure he'd pick the right moment to strike in order to take over. Naruto said and gave her the scroll containing the spy. I'll call an emergency council meeting. In the meantime, Kakashi is looking for you, Sununade said and unsealed the room, but Shizune came in. Lady Sununade, a council meeting has been called. Shizune SSID. By who? Sununade asked. Elders Kaharu and Homiera. Shizune said, I see. I'll be there. You two are dismissed. Said, see ya. Nar said and they vanished. Nar and Tuya. So, where do you think Kakashi is? Tuya asked as they were walking through the village. It's not where I think he is, but where I know he is. Nar said, that does that mean? Tuya asked, he's behind us. He's been following us for about 5 minutes. Nar said, he's right. Kakashi said as they turned around and he closed his book. I should cut you off for following us. Tuya said and Kakashi backed away while covering his man parts. Relax to Yuya. So what is this training I was told about? Nar asked. Follow me. Kakashi said and they vanished. Training ground. So the training I'm talking about is to help you create the ultimate jutsu that only you can use. Kakashi said. Ultimate jutsu. Tuya asked. That's right. Nar is going to complete the Rinnegan. Kakashi said. What do you mean complete then Renin? Tuya asked. The fourth Hokage intended to add his chakra nature to the Rinnegan, but he was never able to do it due to certain events. I tried it, but I was unable to add my lighting chakra nature to it, and that's why I created the Chidori. Kakashi said, what makes you think this ultimate jutsu is something Naruto can only use? Tuya asked, that's because he has the chakra able to pull it off, and he's the only other person other than me and Master Jera that knows the Rasengan. Kakashi said, why haven't you taught me the Rinnegan? Tuya asked, you never asked. If you want, then you can learn it while I create this jutsu. Nar said an unsealed water balloon before tossing it to her. What am I supposed to do with this? Tuya asked. Pop it with your chakra. Now, how long will this ultimate jutsu take? Nar asked. It takes years usually, but we both know a way to shorten the time you'd need to actually complete it. Kakashi said, shadow clones. Nar said, exactly. Now, Yumato will be here as well, just in case. I know you can control some of the Ninetales chakra, but it's better to be safe than sorry since this training won't be easy. Kakashi said, when do we start? Nar asked. Meet me here tomorrow at noon. This will be where we meet every day unless one of us has a mission. Kakashi said, I'll see you tomorrow. Nar said, and Kakashi went up in smoke. Ah, this is too hard. Give me a hint. Tuya yelled. You're just moving the water around the balloon and not trying to pop the balloon with the water. This is the easy part. The second step is the hardest, Nar said and she sighed. That's it. It sounds so simple, but it's so hard. Tuya said, I know. Blame my father for this. He's the one who created the Rasengan. Nar said, let's just go home. I'll figure this out in the morning. Tuya said, it took me a few weeks to get this down. I think you'll get it in no time once you figure out the first part. Nar said, let's go home. I'm ready to get some sleep and maybe fool around a bit. Tuya said and vanished. That's fine with me. Nar said and vanished. While this was going on, Sununade exposed Danzo's dealing to the entire council and forced him to flee the village. He has been labeled as an S-rank criminal and has a kill-on-sight order. Root was no longer in the village and Danzo was going into hiding until the right opportunity presented itself for him to take over Konoha by force. After dismissing Naruto and Tuya from her office, Sununade collected the folders given to her by them and then followed Shizune to the council chambers. While she would have preferred to kill Danzo on the spot, she needed to do this properly to avoid any problems that would occur if she were to do that. Lady Sununade has arrived, Shizune said as they entered the chambers. Thank you, Shizune. Please hurry with what I asked you to do on our way here. Sununade said, of course, my lady. Shizune said and bowed before leaving. Let's get this meeting started. Sununade said and had a smile on her face. Lady Sunsade, you seem to be in a good mood. Elder Kaharu said, I'm in a wonderful mood. Thank you for noticing. Said, yes, of course. Now, Homer and I have called this meeting to discuss the recent mission in regards to Kasser's spy that we were informed about. Kaharu said, of course. What would you like to know? Asked, we want to know if the team consisting of Yamato, Sakura, Haruno, Naruto, Uzumaki, and Tuya have brought us back any useful information. Homie said, in fact, they did. Also, the secondary part in regards to Sasaki Uchiha failed, but it wasn't the main objective of this mission. Sununade said and they nodded. Very well. What information do we have? Kaharu asked. Well, the spy turned out to be Kabuto Yukushi and from what I was told, he posed as a Leaf Genin a few years ago during the Chunin exams. Now, Kabuto didn't reveal any important information due to Orochimaru showing up, but Naruto and Tuya managed to uncover something a bit more important during this mission. Sununade said, what could that be? Shikaku asked, a traitor in our village. Said, a traitor. Who is it? Kaharu asked. First, I want everyone to look into this folder right here and tell me what you see. Sununade said as she handed out a folder and everyone read it. This is our traitor, Homiera asked. More like he works for the traitor. So, Danzo, do you mind telling me why the shinobi I rejected from leaving the village met up with Orochimaru? I could have sworn no ninja other than Asanan or student of Asanan is able to leave the village without permission from the Hokage. Let me know if I am missing something, Sununade said. I have no idea who this person is, Danzo said. And then Sununade unsealed the body. Really? Because this is the same person in the file that you gave me. Sununade said he must have gone rogue. Danzo said, I see. Then how is it possible that he was in possession of information that before I came here was only available to the Hokage and the village elders? I know both Kaharu and Homira didn't do it because they barely look into the shinobi files unless it's absolutely necessary. That just leaves you. So, I'll ask you again. Why was the shinobi you personally recommended for this mission that I rejected out of the village handing out classified information to Orochimaru? Aide asked and Danzo stayed silent. Perhaps it's best that we move on. Other than that, has anything else been discovered? Kaharu asked, of course. Orochimaru left a huge paper trail of everything he's ever done and the people he's worked with over the years. Now, here comes the part that will make all of you gasp. Sununade said and picked up a folder. What is it? Shikaku asked. My old friend Orochimaru has been keeping tabs on everything he's done with Danzo or the things his own spies have caught Danzo doing. Sununade said and snapped her fingers as the room was crowded with Ambu members. He's working with Orochimaru, Kaharu asked. Yes, and he has been ever since Hiruzen was in office. Let's go over the first folder. During the Third Shinobi War, Danzo Shimura sent out his own squads of Anbiri, Iwa, and Kumo to give them false information that Yusuzu Shioke was going to aid Konoha in the war with the use of their Fu and Jutsu skills. Everyone in Konoha knows that the Uzumaki clan had one rule, and that was they do not fight in wars unless they are attacked first. Danzo gave them information on how to get past the defenses of Uzu Shioka and wipe them out. Said, and everyone gasped. He did what? Homiera asked. Oh, that's not even the worst part. Danzo has been aiding Orochimaru in child abduction to help with his experiments long before he became a rogue ninja. All of those years that I read of children mysteriously disappearing from clans in the orphanage are linked to Danzo and Orochimaru. What's next? Here we go. Danzo was also responsible for the attack during the Chunin exams a few years ago before I took over. He gave out information to Orochimaru on the weak points of the village so Sound Ninja could get into the village undetected. Here's my personal favorite. Danzo is also in possession of an artificial arm made of Hashiyama Senju's DNA. That adds defiling the grave of a Kage to your list of crimes. You also have conspired with many more leaders in other villages, which is illegal, and the most notable one was Hanzo the Salamander during the Second Shinobi War. Said and passed around the folders. This is unbelievable, Enonoi said. Don't bother destroying the folders. I have more copies made and sealed away. So, what do you have to say for your actions, Danzo? Asked, and then Rudanu dropped into the room. Everything I did was for the betterment of the village. Without me, this village wouldn't be standing. A new attack, Danzo said, and then a war broke out, giving him time to escape. Lady Sunune, Danzo is escaping. What should we do? Shikaku asked as he was using his shadow paralysis jutsu to retrain multiple root shinobi. Let him go. He's unable to run to another village because I've sent this information out to every village about him and he's being listed as an S-rank shinobi with a kill on-site order. Sununade said and crushed the skull of a root Ambu member. Is that wise? Kaharu asked as she used her genjutsu skills to trap-kill some members of Root. Yes, he's not going to get far so soon. And on the way here, I had Shizune send out letters to the other villages about Danzo and what he's done. The only person he can run to is Orochimaru, Tsunade said. I sense a large group of unidentified shinobi leaving the village. Should I go after them? Kat asked. No, that is Danzo pulling his root out of Konoha. After this, go and find his base. Gather anything you can and bring it to my office. If you see any stragglers, kill them. Sununade said. Yes, ma'am. Kat said as they continued to kill the root members. Kaharu and Homiera, meet me in my office when this is over with. Of course, they said as they were now being guarded by Andu members since they were low on chakra. Nar and Tuya 1 week later. Tuya yelled and threw a water balloon at Nar. What's wrong? Nar asked. I can't pop the balloon. Stupid jutsu. I hope I meet your father when I'm dead so I can kick him in his, Tuya said. Sheesh. I feel bad for him the day she dies. Nar thought, would a demonstration help you? Nar asked. Now you want to help me. Fine, but you're still sleeping on the couch. Good luck having blue balls in the morning face. Tuya said, I have 2 hands. I think it'll be fine. Nar said and she narrowed her eyes. You said anyway, pay close attention because I'm only doing this once. Nar said, hurry the up. Tuya said, not until you give me a smile. Nar said, I'm not giving you a smile. Tuya said and looked away. Come on, show me your beautiful smile. Nar said and she shook her head but had a blush on her face. No, Tuya said, fine, you leave me no choice. Nar said and grabbed her face, then kissed her deeply before separating. You cheated. You know that always makes me smile. Tuya said as she had a beaming smile on her face like you didn't want it. Nar said and she blushed. Just show me, Tuya said. All right, watch what I do. Naruto said as he grabbed a water balloon that channeled chakra into it until it popped. Son of a underscore, I need to make the water spin in multiple directions. Tuya said as she grabbed a water balloon and popped it in an instant. Good job. Now comes the hard part, Nar said and gave her a bag of rubber balls. What are these for? Tuya asked. You need to pop them. The second step is focused on power. You need to increase the volume and density of your chakra output. You have way better chakra control than I do, so it shouldn't take you no longer than a week to complete this. Nar said, and then Taya's rubber ball exploded. Done, Tuya said. Huh? Nar asked with a dumbfounded look on his face that Tuya laughed at. You should see your face. Tuya said as she was rolling on the ground. How do you pop the ball so quickly? Nar asked. Well, like you said, my chakra control is a lot better than yours. The more I trained over the years, the denser my chakra became for some reason. Big Tits thought I was an Uzumaki, but found no traces of Uzumaki DNA inside of me when she tested me. She figured the curse mark must have done something to my chakra that made it thin out. It doesn't take much chakra for me to do the chakra-enhanced punches I used due to the density. All I did was use that principle and added it to the second step but with more chakra. Tuya said, that's good. Are you ready for the next step or do you want to take a break? Nar asked it. Let's get this over with. The sooner I can finish this, the sooner I can work on making my own like you. Tuya said, don't forget you have to train with Granny Sununade for your Kek Jenk. Nar said, I know. I just hope she isn't as brutal this time. Tuya said, she's not. She's the one who taught me how to use my eyes. Kek Jenk, you have mastery over your fire and earth chakra natures, so you just need to master combining them. Nar said, I'll deal with that later. Show me the third step. Tuya said, okay, this step is about containment. You need to combine the first two steps inside of a balloon. If you pop the balloon, then you need to get another one and start over. Once you can do the third step without the balloon, your training will be completed. Nar said, how the hell does this help with the Rinnegan? Tuya asked, you'll see once you complete the third step, Nar said and created hundreds of shadow clones. How's your training going? Tuya asked, it's good. I feel like I'm nearly there, Nar said. And then Kakashi appeared. Oh, I see you're already starting. Kakashi said, we waited for 3 hours. Nar said, right, I was with finishing my mission report. Kakashi said, right, so what are you having him do today, Cyclops? Tuya asked, would it kill you to call me by my name? Kakashi asked, yes, since I've been here, I've never called anybody their actual name. I barely call Nar. Deal with it. Tuya said, you've got your hands full with this one, Nar. Kakashi mumbled. Tell me about it. Nar mumbled. I heard that. Tuya said, sorry. Did you say something? Nar and Kakashi asked. Don't do that, to me. Tuya yelled and her hair split into 9 pieces. What was that guy? Did you say another challenge? Sorry, Naruto. Something important came up, Kakashi said and quickly left. He's an elite jonin, but he's scared of Tuya. Nar thought, will you calm down, Tuya? No need to go on a rampage. Nar said, I'll calm down after I kick your Tuya said and Naruto just gave her a kiss, which instantly calmed her down. There, Nar said as he broke the kiss. But Tuya pulled him in for another one that lasted 5 minutes. Now I'm calm, Tuya said and started the third step. Hey boss, I figured it out. A clone said, what did you come up with? Nar asked. Well, it's like we're trying to do 2 things at once. We'd need an extra pair of hands for it to actually work since we can't make the Rinnegan and channel wind chakra at the same time with our current chakra control. The clone said, I see. Everyone split up into groups of 2. One of you will make the Rinnegan while the other channels wind chakra into it. Nar said, sir, yes, sir. All the clones said and split into groups. What the hell was that about? Tuya asked. I don't know. Sometimes they'll have a mind of their own. Nar said, my shadow clones don't do that. Tuya said, that's a good thing. Nar said, tell me about it. Wait a minute. Was that supposed to be an insult? Tuya asked. Not really, but you have to admit that you're a handful. Imagine multiple shadow clones that don't listen to you. Naruto said, fair point. Now, what's the other Renin you've been secretly working on? Tuya asked, I was wondering when you'd ask. You still spy on me while I'm training. Nar said, only to make sure the Hyuga doesn't try anything on you. Tuya said, are you sure it's not because I'm all sweaty and shirtless? Nar asked. I mean, there's that, of course, but also because of the Hyuga well, her and your fangirls that you've gained in the village. Tuya said, well, none of them compare to you. I barely even notice them. You're the only girl I think about. Nar said and kissed her cheek. Ah, that's so sweet. Look at you 2 love birds. Sununade said as she appeared with Shizune. Why are you here, big tits? Tuya asked. For your training, of course, Spitfires said, I like that name. It describes me perfectly. Tuya said, right, your training will be fairly easy this time around. I won't be throwing boulders at you or anything. I'll just teach you to control your lava. Kek Jenk said, how do I do that? Tuya asked. According to what May sent me, you need to combine the fire and earth chakra natures to melt a boulder. That's apparently all she did and then started to use her Kek Jenk. After that, she said, it should be easy for you to mold your chakra natures together, then start learning your jutsu she gave you. Said, cool. What about my wind chakra nature? Shouldn't I learn to use that as well? Tuya asked, well, you have 2 wind masters in the village. Ask them to train you, Sunady said. I choose over here, Tuya said and pointed at Naruto. Why do you call him that? Shizune asked. And Tuya had a devious look on her face. Well, when we're alone at home getting a bit nasty, he'll lay down on his back and then I'll sit on his face. I'm sure you can guess what happens next. Tuya said and smirked at Shizune, who started to blush. You brought that upon yourself, Shizune. Nar said, ignoring that, will you be able to train her while you're doing your own training? Asked. Yeah, I'm nearly done with my jutsu. I can teach her how to use her wind chakra. Nar said, I've got this. How hard can it be? Tuya asked, filled with confidence. You need to cut a leaf in half with your chakra. Cut a rock in half and then stop the flow of a waterfall. Nar said and her jaw dropped. That last one is impossible. Tuya said, no, it isn't. I managed to do it. Nar said, I call bullshit. Tuya said, can you make a waterfall, Granny? Nar asked, sure. Said, Earth style, Earth rampart. Sununade created a huge rampart of earth rise from the ground that turned into a cliff and followed it up by using the water basin jutsu to create a flow of water. She used her wood style to create a beam for Naruto to stand on and smirked at the look on Taya's face. You should close your mouth before a fly gets in there. Said, how the did you do that? Tuya asked, that's child's play to me. Using my wood style is good for you in part of the lesson. Sununade said, can't I just use one and then add the other to create lava? Tuya asked, no, you need to use them simultaneously. By using water and earth at the same time, I create a new element, wood. The same will happen to you except you'll use fire and earth to create lava. Said, then how do I combine them? Tuya asked, while performing your jutsu, you'll use each hand to combine the elements. I don't have to, but I use water in my right hand and earth in my left hand while channeling the chakra nature at the same time. Said, what do you mean you don't have to do it with both hands? Tuya asked, the more control you have over your Keikei Genk or any of your jutsu, you can shorten the hand signs, or if you have a Keikei Genk, you can get it to the point where you can combine both chakra natures in one hand. Said, I've got it to the point where I can use one hand sign or none at all. On my first mission out of the village, I fought a boy named Haku, and he also had the Ice Keek Genk. He was able to use one hand sign to create his jutsu and one hand if the jutsu required multiple hand seals. In my arsenal, there's only one jutsu that requires me to use every hand sign for. Nar said, what jutsu is that? Tuya asked, let's just say it's a dedication to the Ninetales. Nar said, show me. Said, fine. Nar said and went through about 25 hand signs ice style. Nine-tailed fox. Nar created a gigantic ice replica of the nine-tailed fox and stood on top of its head. Inside the seal, the Ninetales gave his nod of approval at his first time seeing the jutsu. Meanwhile, Sununade, Tuya, and Shizune had their jaws on the ground. The fox was possibly the same height as the original and had red eyes. That's awesome, Tuya said. Is this the secret jutsu Jera was telling me about? Asked, and Naruto cancelled the jutsu. No, I was about to show to Yuya when you showed up. Nar said, then you can show all of us. I don't know. What do I get in return? Nar asked, how about I don't kick you the next time you do something stupid? Asked, when was the last time I did something stupid? Nar asked, when you set off one of your pranking seals in the middle of the village. Sununade said that was in the past. I've grown up since then. Nar said that was 2 days ago. Sununade said like I said that was in the past. Nar said and Sununade's eye twitched. You've got 2 seconds before I make you kiss the sun. Sununade said just show us the damn jutsu. Tuya said fine. Naro said after cupping both of his hands. Nar created a barrier with a large Rasengan inside and Sununade was impressed but didn't get the point of creating a barrier over a bigger Rasengan. Before she could speak up, the Rinnegan then split into 5 smaller Ra Sengans that were rotating around inside the barrier. Nar pushed his hands forward, launched the attack towards some trees, and they all watched as the attack destroyed everything in its path with a large explosion. Whoa. Tuya said, that's the jutsu I was working on. It took me 6 months to create, and I still haven't come up with a name for it. Naruto said, are you sure you haven't surpassed Jera yet? Asked, I'm positive. When I say he made me go all out, I literally mean all out. He forced me to use all 7 activations of the 7 heavenly breaths, and I still lost. That old pervert is something else. Maybe with this training and finally training with the toads will help, but for now he's still stronger than me. Nar said, why haven't you started training with the toads yet? Shizune asked, yeah, from what I can tell, you're more than ready to train with them. You're better than Jera when her first started to train with them. I don't know. Old Geyser Sage told me they wanted to wait a bit longer. Nar said, Old Geyser Sage. Who is that? Asked. I hope he's not talking about who I think he's talking about. Thought Fukusaku. Nar said, you call him Geyser Sage. Asked, it's not like he minds. You should have seen his reaction when he found out that I called the old pervy sage. Nar said, listen, can we get back to training? I want to at least make some progress before sunset. Tuya said, fine, Nar. Go cut the waterfall and prove to her that it can be done. Said, you got it. Nar said as he walked to the waterfall, then placed both hands on the water and cut it with a pulse of wind chakra. That's so cool, Tuya said. Let's get started, Sun80 said. I heard Sakura was going to bring you some soldier pills. Maybe we should wait for her. Shizune said, Nar, code pink. Tuya said, code pink. What the hell does that mean? Nar asked. Pinky is making us soldier pills. Tuya yelled and Nar palled. You got it. Nar said and then set up a barrier around the training area. Is this necessary? Shizune asked. You've never had Sakura's cooking before. Nar said, it can't be that bad. Is it? Asked. You know how people say they'd rather die than do something. Tuya asked. Yeah. Sununade said, this is one of those moments. Tuya said, hey guys, lower the barrier. I've got some soldier pills. Sakura said, no, you keeps those things away from us. Tuya said, but they're nice and healthy. Sakura said, not if you made them. Tuya said, Naro, lower the barrier. Said, fine, it's your funeral if you eat them. Nar said, and let Sakura in. I'm sure it's not that bad, Sununade said. Thank you, Maddie. Would you like to try one? Sakura asked. Sure, said. I'll take one as well, Shizune said as they each took a soldier pill and bit into it. See, they aren't that bad. They're made with fast-acting digestive agents. I handpicked them myself and rolled them into a little ball of energy. They're overflowing with nutritious goodness. Now that I think about it, it's more like medicine than a soldier pill. Of course, medicine always tastes nasty, so it may taste a little strange at first, Sakura said and never noticed they left. Hey, Pinky, Tuya said and pointed to the ground with both soldier pills and a note. A note, it says your training is canceled for today. Sakura said, way to go, Pinky. You've poisoned the big tits with your nasty soldier pills. Tuya said, that's ridiculous. I used a special recipe to make sure they were tasty. I'll even eat one myself. Sakura said and instantly regretted her decision as she started to spit out the soldier pill. I told you they were nasty. Come on, lover boy. Let's go have some alone time, Tuya said. Alright, let's go, Naruto said as he released his shadow clones and vanished with Tuya. Hokage Monument. This is nice. Just the two of us together and no interruptions. Tuya said as they were sitting on his father's head watching the sunset. You said you wanted some alone time and I also owed you that date still. I figured a small picnic and watching the sunset would be nice. Nar said you were right. Tuya said anything to make you happy. Nar said I can't believe everything that's happened to me over the years. I mean my life did a complete 180. Tuya said, to think it all started when I kicked you in the stomach and threw you into a tree. Nar said, and they shared a chuckle. You broke some of my ribs, you asshole. Tuya said, should have handed over the barrel. Nar said, whatever. Seriously though, I went from being paranoid about somebody touch me in my sleep, barely eating, not showering for days or weeks, being a human experiment and personal guard to one of the biggest criminals in history to a student of Sunade Sinu. Having a meal every day, showering every day, no more paranoia or experiments, and most importantly, a friend turned boyfriend who stuck by my side through everything since I've came to the village. You really put your neck out on the line for me and were the first person to show me kindness in a long time. I'm really grateful that you're in my life and everything you've done for me. It means a lot to me and I tell you this every day, but I love you. Naruto said, I love you, too. We were similar in many ways growing up. I guess it's meant for us to be together and make each other happy. Nar said, do I really make you happy? Don't you want more from me? Tuya asked, what do you mean? Nar asked like I know I'm a handful and you even said it yourself. Don't you want me to change who I am? Tuya asked, why would I want you to change? I love you for you and the way you are. Sure, you're a handful, but I wouldn't want you any other way. I fell in love with you because you're real and you never try to be something you're not. You don't need to be some girl who's polite for me. Your brashness makes you stand out, Nar said. I mean, I guess you're right, but do you think we're moving a bit slow in our relationship? Tuya asked, what makes you say that? Nar asked, don't play stupid, Nar. The lack of it wasn't until 2 weeks ago that we started orally pleasuring each other. Don't you want more? Aren't you dying to move to the next step? Tuya asked Tuya, listen, I am perfectly fine with the pace we're going at. You aren't ready for that next step yet, and I respect that. I don't pressure you into anything you don't want to do, and I never will. We don't have to do it if you're not ready. I'm not with you for yeah. You've grown up into a beautiful woman with the body most kunoichi would kill for and men would desire, but your body is just an added bonus to me. I've loved you while you were almost as flat as a piece of cardboard. Naruto said, and she laughed a bit. I was pretty flat back then. Anyway, it's not that I'm not ready to take that next step. I just don't want you to treat me like Koyuki and have it be a spur of the moment thing, then never do it again. What if I'm not as good as her and you leave me? Tuya asked to Yuya. The only way I'd leave you is if you cheat on me. Do you really think I'd do that to you? Haven't then leave. Nar asked. No, it's just what happened to my friend back in Sound. She had a boyfriend and then he dumped her after having I saw how she was and I just don't want that to be me. Tuya said, well, it won't be you because I'm not that guy. Besides, if I were to leave you, I highly doubt I'd find another girl like you who keeps me on my toes and isn't afraid to go upside my head every once in a while. You're special to me, and I want you to be with me for the rest of my life. Nar said, and she started to cry. You idiot. Making me cry again. I should kick your Tuya said and Nar wiped her tears. How about I give you my pranking seal to set up in Hinata's room? Nar asked and she smiled. Deal. I love you, Nar. Tuyuya said, I love you too, Tuya. Nar said and gave her a kiss. You keep kissing me like that and I might rip your lips off to keep them with me. Tuyuya said, yep. And if you keep it up, you may become Tuya Uzumaki in the future. Naruto said and she smiled. Tuya Uzumaki that has a nice ring to it unlike my ring finger. So until then just stick to calling me Tuyuya. Tuya said, deal, Nar said and gave her a passionate kiss as the sun started to set. Let's go home. Our bed is calling my name, Tuya said. And Nar picked her up bridal style. Anything for you, Nar said, and they vanished. 3 days later, Naruto and Tuya were busy training with their respective jutsu. Kakashi and Tsunade were looking on as Tuya was using her shadow clones to cut a leaf in half and melt a boulder. She herself was focusing on finishing the Rasengan, and she was really close. Naruto's jutsu was coming along great, and he could feel that he was close. All you could hear was sounds of Taya's clones grunting, trying to cut the leaf and melt a boulder. But that all stopped when a screeching noise was heard. Hey, I think I got it, Nar said as he had a different Rinnegan in his hand. All right, to test its ability, clash it with my Rasengan. Get ready, Kakashi said and made a Rinnegan in his hand. Why would you do that? What's going to happen? Nar asked. If your jutsu is nearly complete, then my Rinnegan will have no effect on it. Kakashi said. Kakashi and Nar ran at each other with their respective jutsu and collided them together. After a brief struggle, Naruto's Rinnegan easily tore through Kakashi's Rinnegan, and Kakashi's hand was badly damaged as a result. Tuya saw the results of the jutsu and never even noticed that her training was complete. So now what? Tuya asked. Now I need Nar for a mission that I believe only he can do. Tsunade said and gave him a scroll. What kind of mission? Nar asked. Just read the scroll. Tsunade said and Naruto's eyes went big as he read the mission. Are you sure about this? Nar asked. Yes, we're the only 2 people in this village that can do this mission and I can leave due to me being the Hokage. That leaves you and only you to complete this mission. What about my training? Nar asked. You can finish your training there. The place is a wasteland anyway, but if you find something worth keeping, seal it away and bring it back to me. Nade said, you got it. Tuya knows how to call me for an emergency. Nar said, I sure do. Tuya said and pulled out a tri-prong kana. Nar, you completed it? Kakashi asked. Just finished it a few days ago and even gave it a few test runs. Nar said, that will come in handy because I also need Tuya for a mission with Team 10. 2 Akatsuki members attacked the fire temple and killed Chiriku. I'm sending out 20 teams to deal with the 2 Akatsuki members, and I need Tuya on this mission. I would send Sakura, but she's needed at the hospital right now with Shizune. Said, finally, I get to kick some. Tuyuya said, remember, Tuya, these are S-rank criminals, and word from Jiraiya's spy network is that these 2 are called the Immortal Duo, and they recently captured the 2-tailed beast with no difficulty. Said, how is that possible? They shouldn't be able to seal any tailed beasts right now without Gar being captured, Naruto said. And then he was dragged into his mindscape. Mindscape. There are other ways to seal the tailed beasts if you miss one of them. The 9 tails said, 90 tails. I haven't heard from you in a while. Anyway, what do you mean by other ways to seal a tailed beast if they miss one? Nar asked. It's simple. Shukaku never really needed to be sealed away, and neither are any of his tailed beasts. The ghetto statue in which they are sealed just needs the chakra from the tailed beasts. The 9 tails said, then how would they get the chakra from Gar? I'm sure you've seen his new transformation. It would be hard for them to take his chakra now that he's grown more powerful. Nar said, yes, I know all about his new transformation, but I never said they had to take it from him. During your fight with those two Akatsuki members, Gar infused his chakra and by relation, Shukaku's chakra into the sand. If they have the methods, the Akatsuki can absorb the chakra from the sand and then seal it inside of the Geto statue. If they have the two tails, then they must already have Shukaku's chakra. The Nine Tails said, damn it. Right when I thought we ruined whatever their plans were, they already had a backup. Thanks for the advice, but there is one thing I have to ask. Naruto said, and the Nine Tails narrowed its eyes. What? The Nine Tails asked. So, we all know that the one-tailed beast is named Shukaku, but what about the others? Do you have a name? Nar asked. Yes. The Nine Tails said, well, what is it? I can't keep calling you Nine Tails forever. I mean, you know my name and we're partners, so I think it's only fair that I know your name. Nar said, what makes you think you deserve to know my name? The Nenettles asked. I literally just said it. We're partners and you know my name. Why do you have to be such a stick in the damn mud? Just tell me your name. Nar said and the Nine Tails chuckled. Your mate seems to have influenced your way of speaking. The Nine Tails, that's what happens when you spend a lot of time with somebody. Nar said, I see. You are the first human to actually ask for my name. You've become a strong shinobi without the use of my chakra as you preferred to get stronger using your own power. My respect for you has grown a lot from the last time we talked and part of it has to do with you no longer forcefully using my chakra. Your dream to free all of his tailed beasts will be difficult but it is achievable. Do you remember what I told you the Sage of Six Paths said about what he wanted for his tailed beasts? The Nine Tails asked, yeah, you said that he foretold of a day when the tailed beasts would be brought together again, though not as you were, and at that time someone would emerge to show you what true power is. Why do you bring that up? Nar asked. Because I believe you are the one the Sage of Six Paths told us about. You remind me of him a bit, and it's almost laughable. The Nine Tails said, I appreciate the compliment, but I don't think I'm anything like the Sage of Six Paths. I mean, his power is legendary, and he created the tailed beasts. I don't think he'll ever come close to his level. He's basically a god, Nar said. You're more like the Sage of Six Paths than you think. I'll give you an example. He cared a great deal about his tailed beasts when we were still with him, and he gave us each a name as a sign of our individuality. He told us that no matter how far apart we grew, we'd always be together. And you now want to free us to give us back our freedom and our identities. The Nine Tails said, yes, but you're forgetting one thing. I can't free you because our souls are intertwined thanks to the death god. Nar said, a small price to pay for salvation. The Nine Tails said, wouldn't it be kind of sad that your brothers and sisters would be free while you're stuck inside of me? Nar asked, sometimes you must put your own selfish needs and desires to the side for others. I've been sealed for over 100 years. Even when you do eventually die, I'll just reform after a while. Now, you must get going. You're about to get punched in the head by your mate. The Nenettles said and kicked Nar out of his mindscape. Real world, Naruto Uzumaki, Tuya yelled and threw a punch at his head, but he caught it. Yes, Tuya, Nar asked. Finally, I've been calling your name for 10 minutes. Tuya said, what happened to you? You were just staring off into space. I was talking to the Nine Tails. Nar said about what? Sununade asked. You know how I thought preventing them from capturing Go would stop their plans. Nar asked. Yes. Sununade said. Well, I was wrong. The Nenettles told me that the Akatsuki only need the chakra of the tailed beasts. And since Gar leaked his chakra in the sand around Suna, they must have sent somebody to collect the chakra and sealed it away, allowing them to continue with their plans. Nar said, what else did you two talk about? Asked, the same as usual. Nar said, I see. You have your mission. I want you to leave immediately. Said, come on, lover boy. Let's go pack up. Tuya said, okay, Nar said and vanished with Tuya. Naruto's apartment. Why'd you lie to her? Tuya asked, what do you mean? Nar asked, I know you lied to her back there about what else you and the Nine Tails talked about. Tuya said, of course you did. I'm just not ready to tell her because she still has trust issues with the Nine Tails like everyone else. I'll tell her when I get back, Nar said. What about me? Tuya asked. I'm sure you'll be there when I tell her. Naruto said as he finished packing for his mission. How long will you be gone? Tuya asked. There's no timetable for the mission, but I'll be back in a few days. Make sure you kick some Akatsuki for me. Nar said, I already killed one of those. I think I can get another one under my belt. Tuya said, I'm sure you will, but use the kunai if you get in a sticky situation. Nar said, yeah, I will. I'll see you in a few days, Tuya said and gave him a kiss. I love you, Naruto said. I love you too, Tuya said, and then he vanished. Hokage Monument. Nar made it to his destination within the head of the first Hokage Hashiyama Senju and looked around for something. He saw two caskets and one of them wasn't properly closed. When he walked closer to the casket, he saw that it belonged to the first Hokage due to his name being engraved on it. He closed the casket and went to the second one, which was engraved with the name Mido Uzumaki. The grave of the first Hokage himself and his wife, my ancestor. Naruto said. He walked around a bit more and something told him to unseal his sword. So that's what he did. His sword started humming when he walked in a certain direction until it became a full vibration that shook his arm. He held the sword up and it was as if the sword pulled him to a secret space within the head of the first Hokage. The sword stuck itself in the wall and then a secret passage was opened up to Nar. What was that feeling? I feel like I just used the horizon, but I didn't. Nar thought. Usu Shioker. Nar exited the secret passageway and found himself in a tunnel. The more he walked around, the more curious he became, and he kept the sword out just for protection. He exited a cave and saw nothing except for some destroyed buildings and basically a bone graveyard. He eventually came across a sign that was still standing but covered in dust. He read it and was surprised to see where he was. Utsu Shioker, how did I get here though? Nar asked himself. That seal you went through was basically a teleportation seal. Mido Uzumaki had a feeling something bad was going to happen to her home and wanted to save them. The seal she created took years and years to complete. Your mother was the one who finished it but never had the chance to use it. The Nenettles said, I wonder why Granny sent me here. It's in ruins and there's nothing here other than a few animals. Naruto said as he continued walking around. The Uzumaki clan has secrets locked away. With Danzo out of the village, your Hokage must want them kept safe inside of the village. The Nenettles said, I guess you're right, Naruto said. And then a white fox appeared in front of him. Follow that fox. It will serve as your guide. The Ninetales said, fine, lead the way, Nar said, and the fox took off. Uzumaki Shrine. Okay, fox, what is this place? Nar asked, and the fox just yipped before running away. The Uzumaki Shrine, Mido said something about this before to Hashiyama. But I was recovering from being controlled, so I didn't hear exactly what she said. The Nenettles said, and Naruto noticed a sign. This is really convenient, Nar said. To seek what lies beneath, one must purify themselves from the evil that lives within. That does that mean? Nar asked. You need to conquer your evil self that you buried inside of you. Meditate and enter your mind to deal with this dilemma you are facing. Nar said, I'm not facing a dilemma, though. Nar said, yes, you are. You may not show it, but the hatred you've garnered over the years from the abuse in Konoha still dwells within you. You never confronted your hatred. You merely buried it underneath the love you've surrounded yourself with. You need to confront your evil side and then me. The Ninetales said, why do I have to confront you? You haven't done anything to me. I don't have any harsh feelings towards you. Naruto said, yes, but our souls are bound together thanks to the Shinigami, and my chakra is basically fueled by hatred, thanks to the years of humans treating me like a mere weapon. My hatred goes back to the days of the first Hokage. The Ninetales said, why are you being so helpful all of a sudden? Nar asked, it is as you said. We are partners. The Nenettles said, yeah, some partner you are. I don't even know your name. Nar said, all will be revealed in due time, but first, you need to get yourself situated. I have a hunch this is why those stupid toads have not trained you to become a sage user like that perverted teacher of yours. The Ninetales said, I guess you're right. What do I need to do? Nar asked. Meditate to go into your mindscape and your dark side should appear. The Ninetales said, fine, Naruto said and started to meditate. So, you finally decided to show up, a voice said, and Nar opened his eyes. Ho, it's me. Well, evil me, you don't look like much now that I see you, Nar said, and his evil self growled. What was that? Evil Naro asked. You heard me. I was expecting something like a fierce aura, maybe a few sharp teeth, some claws, but not a regular me with red eyes. Nar said, that red-haired girl is corrupting you. You should be afraid of me. Evil Nar said, whatever. You know why I'm here, so let's just get this over with. Nar said, I'm going to enjoy killing you and taking over. I'll get rid of Tuya and everyone else around me. Evil Nar said, I don't think you can do that. Tuya would know something is wrong and quickly beat the underscore out of you until she got her answers. Besides, in order for you to do that, you need to beat me in a fight, which would be pointless. You are my hatred that's been buried away when I found love. Fighting each other would just be stupid since we know each other's next move. I just want to finish this and get back to my home. Nar said, how can you call that place a home? They've always deceived us and made up rules to purposely shun us. It was painful. We were just kids. I'm the only one who understands you. Don't trust the villagers. Evil Naruto said, I've talked with Pervy Sage during my training trip, and he explained to me that the villagers are important, but before I can trust them, I need to trust myself. I didn't understand what that meant when he told me that, but now that I'm here, I think I get it. I'm a ninja, and it's my job to protect the village, and by extension, the villagers. If I never would have come here, then if the village was attacked, I probably would have saved the people I care about the most and left everyone else to die. I need to trust myself as the one the villagers put their faith in. If I can't trust myself to protect them, then I'll never be able to become Hokage. Naruto said, why? They made us suffer so much. You're willing to forget everything they've done to us all for some dream. Evil Nar asked, no, I'll never forget what my life was like, but I will forgive them. For all I know, if I wouldn't have grown up the way I did, I probably wouldn't have met Pervy Sage, Granunade, Kurenai, Yuga, the Ikyakus, Enko, and most importantly to Yuya. I let the villagers get to me growing up that I started to doubt myself and I shouldn't. I should have my pride like everyone else. I let them take that from me growing up and now I want it back. Nar said, what about me? Are you saying I'm holding you back? Then what was I all this time? Evil Naruto asked. Thanks to you, I've become strong. I became strong to prove to the villagers that I'm not the Ninetales and that I won't stay a loser forever. Nar said, then what should I do now? Evil Nar asked, and Nar gave him a hug. It's simple. Just become me. Thank you for everything you've done, but it's okay now. You no longer need to hold on to the resentment towards the village, Nar said. And after a while, his evil side started to disappear. Well, that's over with, Nar thought. I see you managed to overcome yourself. The Ninetales said, yeah, but I wasn't in my mindscape. I was still out here talking to myself. Nar said, that's odd. What's done is done. Now it's time to separate my chakra from me. The Ninetales said and pulled him into his mindscape. Mindscape. Why do I have to do that? Nar asked. I'm a being made of chakra. My chakra is fueled by rage and hatred. The Ninetales said, won't that kill you? Nar asked. No, as you're removing the chakra from me, I'll start gathering chakra to replenish. Once you take my chakra, it will start to purify itself. The Ninetales said, all right, Naruto said and pulled up his sleeve, revealing a seal. When did you get the key to the seal? The Ninetales asked. Pervy Sage gave it to me while we were training. Nar said and unlocked the cage. Feels so good to be free. The Ninetales said, now what do I do? Nar asked. And then he found himself in a different area. Unknown place. How about you give your mom a hug? A soft voice said. Nar turned around to see a fair-skinned, slender woman with violet eyes and red hair. Her hair was straight and reached her ankles with shoulder-length strands that framed both sides of her face and a black clip that parts her hair to the left. She was wearing a high ARED sleeveless blouse under a long loose-fitting dress with a wristband on her left wrist and standard shinobi sandals. He was looking at Kusha Uzumaki. Nar couldn't believe it. Standing right before him was his own mother, who he was told died during the Ninetales attack. Mom? Nar asked. That's right. I can't believe this is the first time I'm hearing you call me that. It warms my heart knowing I can finally hear you call me that. Kusha said and Nar gave her a big hug. How are you here? I thought you died during the Ninetales attack. Nar said you'll have to ask him. Kusha said as she pointed behind Nar who turned around and saw Minato Namikaze standing there. Dad? Nar asked. In the flesh? Well, not really, but you know what I mean. Minato said, and Nar gave him a strong punch to the stomach. That's for sealing the Ninetales in me. Nar said, you sure do pack a punch. Minato said as he was trying to catch his breath. How are the two of you here? Nar asked. When I was sealing the Ninetales inside of you, I also sealed some of our chakra inside of you. I was supposed to come when you sprouted the 8th tail and Kusha was going to appear when you were ready to tame the Ninetales. Minato said, I don't get it though. How did you die, Mom? You Uzumaki have incredibly strong life forces, so you should have lived after the Ninetales was extracted. Nar said, how do you know I was a Gentry? Kasha asked, the Ninetales told me. Nar said, I see. To answer your question, I died in the most badass way possible. I died keeping the Ninetales from killing you, Kusha said. During the sealing ritual, Kusha's adamantine chains loosened and the Ninetales tried to stab you. We jumped in front of you and we both wound up getting stabbed through our backs by one of its claws. Minato said, the chains didn't loosen. When you split the Ninetales in half, it shrunk and due to the state I was in, I wasn't fast enough to tighten them again. Kosa said, why'd you split the Ninetales in half? Nar asked. Call it a hunch. Minato said, a hunch. We wouldn't be in this situation had you listened to me and used the 8 trigram sealing method, but no, you just had to summon the Shinigami. Kusha said, you used the Reaper Death Seal. Nar asked, yes, at the time I was low on chakra and needed something to help with the sealing of the 9 tails. Minato said, how were you low on chakra? I was told you had large chakra reserves. Nar said, I do, but I was fighting before sealing the 9 tails away. Minato said, who were you fighting? Nar asked, I fought the person who might be the leader of the Akatsuki that you're fighting against. He wore a mask with a single eyehole on it. He was responsible for the Ninetails attack. He claims to be Mochi, and if I had to guess, he's the strongest member of the Akatsuki. Minato said, a man in a mask. Nar asked, you've met him? Minato asked, no, the only ones have fought are Sazori of the Red Sand and Dara the Mad Bomber. Nar said, I see. Be wary around him. He was the one responsible for the Ninetails attack on the day you were born. He somehow managed to get past all of the barriers I set up and managed to use you as a hostage to get to Kusha in order to free the 9 tails. Minato said, how did he free the 9 tails if it was sealed away inside of Mom? Naruto asked, when a female gentry gives birth, their seal will weaken. This guy somehow found out about Kusha giving birth and showed up as soon as she was finished. I didn't tighten the seal and he used you as a decoy. Minato said, then I'm going to kick his. Nar said, you're not ready yet, Minato said. What makes you say that? Nar asked, because I can just tell. You need a lot more training before you can deal with whoever this guy is. One thing that makes him dangerous is his ability to turn intangible. When I fought him, nothing worked until I used the Horizon level 2. You need to find a way to get by that and attack at the same time. Minato said, I already know the Horizon. Nar said, really? How do you know it already? You're like 16. Minato asked. I'm a sealing expert. I'm better than Pervy Sage. Nar said, and the Kasha fell over laughing. Your mother used to call him that as well. Minato said, so that's why he gets mad when I call him that. Nar said, yes, but back to the masked man. You need a combination of speed, intelligence, and power to beat him. If he's collecting the tailed beasts, then the 9 tails chakra will be essential to your fight with him. Minato said, that's probably why the two of you appeared. I was going to take his chakra from him to purify it and access the Uzumaki shrine in Uzushiok. I'm here right now, but it said I had to basically conquer all the hatred within me. Nar said, what could you possibly hate? Kusha asked. Konoha. Naruto said, why? Kusha asked, yeah, the village was peaceful when I was in charge. Minato said, well, it changed. It was so bad that I even unlocked the dojutsu of the Uzumaki clan. Nar said and Kusha gasped. Show me, Kusha said. All right, Naruto said and activated his Hishigan. I don't believe it, Kosa whispered. What is that? I've never seen that dojutsu before. Minato said, it's called the Hishigan. It's extremely rare amongst the Uzumaki clan, and the only way to unlock it is by going through severe emotional trauma. Kasha said, what happened to make you unlock that, Nar? Minato asked, my entire life until Granny Sununade became the Hokage. Nar said Sunade is back. That's good. Besides that, what happened? Kusha asked. Well, your beloved third Hokage was a piece of underscore, Nar said and Minato's sweat dropped while Kusha raised an eyebrow. Why would you say that? Minato asked. He wanted me as a weapon and organized mobs to beat me near death so he could show up to play the grandfatherly role. He placed a secret law backed by the civilian council that would prohibit anybody from adopting me and telling me about my lineage. Naruto SSID. Did anybody adopt you? Kusha asked. No. Quite a few people wanted to adopt me and they had nothing but good intentions. Makoto Uchiha, who was one of your friends, wanted to adopt me. The Hyuga clan wanted to take me in as well since Hiyashi Hyunga was good friends with dad. A few civilian families wanted to take me in as well since they were also close to the two of you. Enko wanted to adopt me, but due to her history with Orochimaru, she was rejected and that was when I was 8. Kurine Yui also wanted to adopt me along with Yuga, Tuki Aiku, and Sumanuka. Naruto said, Kurenai and Enko wanted to adopt you. That's good. Were they at least in your life? Kasha asked. Kurenai was there whenever she could be. She'd give me food and let me wash up. Enko had a memory blocking seal placed on her and she forgot about me until I removed it. Nar said, why would he do this? I trusted Hiruzen. Kosa said, because he's a bitter old man. Nar said, obviously, what happened afters took over. Minato asked. The village actually grew. No more spies, a better academy, better hospital, and the red light district is being fixed. She fixed the council since they civilians haven't paid taxes since you died. And this is the part I'm sure mom will love. Nar said and Kusha looked at him. What is it? Kusha asked. I have a girlfriend. Nar said and Kusha screamed. Who is she? Is it Hikari's daughter? Kusha asked. I don't even know who that is. Nar said she was one of Kosa's friends. Minato said well I've never met her. Anyway, my girlfriend's name is Tuya. Nar said, what does she look like? Kusha asked. And Naruto made a shadow clone that transformed into here. She's gorgeous. Is she an Uzumaki? Kusha asked. No, she's just a natural redhead. Nar said, it's kind of weird how you're a blonde and your girlfriend is a redhead. It's like me and you all over again, Kusha. Minato said, I doubt it. Unless every other word out of mom's mouth was a cuss word. Naruto said, I wasn't that bad. Kusha said, if you say so. Minato mumbled. So, how did you two meet? Kusha asked. Well, Sasaki Uchi went rogue to join Orochimaru to kill Itachi, and she was part of the group that was sent to retrieve him for Orochimaru. After the mission was over, I found her trapped under some trees nearly dead, and brought her back to the village for a better life. We've been inseparable ever since, Naruto said. And Kusha had hearts in her eyes. Ah, that's so cute. It almost reminds me of how me and your father got together. Kusha said, how do you two meet? Nar asked. We met in the ninja academy. It was the first day after I moved to Konoha. We were still little kids when we met, and I yelled my name while stating that I was going to become Konoha's first female Hokage. Kosa said, that's when I stood up and announced that I wanted to be Hokage as well. A Hokage that's respected by everyone. Minato said, my first impression of Minato was that he wasn't very manly or dependable, so I didn't take him seriously and believed that he could actually become Hokage. Kusha said, why not? Nar asked. Well, I was really soft-spoken and I didn't give off a certain aura that screamed powerful. Minato said, back then, I was too young and ignorant to recognize the truth. I guess it was pretty snobby to declare that I was going to become Hokage after I just moved from another village. After that, all the boys in class began to tease me, except for Minato, who was silent. They gave me a mean nickname as well, Kosa said, and Minato snickered. They called me Tomato because of my red hair and round face. They would constantly tease me about how I would never become Hokage and that they hated tomatoes. Kusha said, I bet Dad stepped in and stopped those bullies, right? Nar asked. Well, not exactly, Minato said and rubbed the back of his neck. Oh, no. You're completely wrong about that, Tomato. I grudgingly accepted being called that. It was embarrassing, but I had to admit that it was very accurate. Minato would only sit there and watch as they teased me. Suddenly, I had enough and started to beat up everyone that would tease me. That's how I got my nickname, the red-hot-blooded habanero. Kasha said, I always smiled when she would beat up her bullies because I knew she was strong and they deserved it. However, whenever she caught me looking, she would yell at me and I'd turn away from her. Minato said, wow, Dad, you were such a wimp. It's a good thing I had Mom's personality growing up before I mellowed out or people would have tried to walk all over me. Nar said, yes, I did think your father was a wimp as well. That all changed the day he saved me. I was kidnapped by Kumo shinobi who wanted me for my unique ability that could suppress a tailed beast. I left a trail of my hair, hoping somebody would come and save me. Since I was an outsider, as they would call me, I didn't hold out much hope that anybody would come and save me. We'd almost reached the border and I thought I was done for. I wasn't really paying attention since I'd given up hope and the next thing I knew, Minato was standing there and the Kumo shinobi were defeated. Kasha said, how do you know she was in danger? Nar asked, I was in the forest training and saw a trail of red hair that I knew belonged to her, so I followed it. It took me a few hours, but I finally caught up to them and used my stealth to my advantage. I took out the Kumo shinobi one by one until they were all defeated. Minato said when I saw him in front of me asking if I was okay, I was happy and nearly fainted until he caught me. There he was, the least manly person I knew standing in front of me after taking out the Kumo shinobi. He carried me all the way back to the Leaf Village and that's when I noticed my hair in his hand. He told me my hair was beautiful and that he noticed it right away. Kusha said, as you can tell, Taya's hair is beautiful as well, and it was the first thing I noticed about her. Nar said, I wish I could meet her, but sadly things weren't meant to be. Kosa said, I'm sure she would have loved you. Minato said, I guess you're right. It's impossible to not love someone like me. Kusha said, is it true that when you were mad, your hair would split into 9 sections? Nar asked. Yes. Why? Kusha asked. Because Taya's hair does the same thing. It doesn't scare me or anything, but the first time it just freaked me out a bit. Nar said, well, you're definitely different from your father. He was terrified of it. Kusha said, it wasn't you I was scared of. I was scared for the village. You were prone to go on rampages a lot. Minato said, oh, those were just harmless pranks. I'm still upset I didn't get to paint the Hokage monument. Kusha said, been there, done that. Nar said, you did. How do you do it? Kusha asked. Well, I didn't know how to use my chakra to climb things yet. So, I used some rope to lower myself on each of the heads to paint them. This was my graduation day. I didn't get caught until I was bored and wanted to have the Andu chase me. Nar said, ah, the infamous Uzumaki chase. Kusha said her record for not being caught was 9 days. Minato SSID and chuckled. Well, that record was shattered by me. It took them a month to find me after one of my pranks. Nar said, what did you do? Kusha asked. We don't have much time left and they're sharing notes on pranking. I guess it can't be helped, Minato thought and smiled at them. I pranked the entire Anbu base except for Cat. I colored all of their uniforms orange and pink, placed itching powder in their pants, glued their swords to their sheets, placed stink bombs in their lockers, and I let the stray dogs into the building. Nar said in both of their jaws hit the ground. You did all of that. How old were you? Minato asked. I think I was 7 when I did that. Nar said, my baby is a genius. Kusha said and gave him a hug. As fun as this is, Kusha, we don't have much time left. Minato said, right, sorry. Gosh, I don't know what to say anymore. You've clearly been eating properly. You're strong. You surround yourself with love and even got a girlfriend. Oh, I know. Next time you see that pervert, kick him in the nuts for me. He tried to peek at me and Makoto in the hot springs once and got away. Kusha said, I guess I can do that. Nar said, speaking of Makoto, how is she doing? Kusha asked, she's dead. Nar said bluntly. Sheesh, talk about laying it on heavy. Minato thought, what happened? Kosa asked. The entire Uchiha clan was killed off except for 2. Itachi and Sasaki are the only 2 left alive. Nar said, what? Kusha and Minato asked, yep, they're all dead. Nar said, who killed them? Kosa asked. Itachi. The Uchiha clan were being blamed for the Ninetales attack and were sent to live on the outskirts of the village. After a while, their hatred towards the village came to a boiling point and they started to plan a coup d'etat to take over the village. Itachi was tasked with killing the Uchiha clan and his love for the village was greater than his love for the clan. In a single night, he killed all of them and left his brother alive. He was only 13 when he killed the Uchiha clan, which tells you how strong he is. Nar said, I don't believe it. Minato said, it's like a terrible nightmare. Kusha said, I don't get it. The higher UPS knew Kusha was a gentry. How could they blame the Uchiha for the Ninetales attack? Minato asked, it wasn't all of them. It was Danzo. He's also responsible for the destruction of Uzu Shioker. Naruto said, how? They were destroyed by Iwa, Kumo, and Kiri. Kusha said that's true, but Danzo gave them false information about Uzu Shioker joining in the war and information on how to get past their defenses. He wanted the Uzumaki clan secrets, but he couldn't get them as long as they were still around. He sent people here after that because I see the masks of his root Ambu here on the ground. Nar said, that old wrinkly son of a bitch. Kasha said, how do you know all of this? This sounds like something to be kept secret. Minato said, Danzo was working with Orochimaru, and Orochimaru kept a paper trail of everything Danzo did just in case he tried to betray him. I raided one of Orochimaru's bases with a team and took the files he had. Nar said, make sure you kill Danzo. It's my only request for you. Well, that and to give me some grandbabies. Kusha said, I'll make sure to do both of them. Naruto said and then Minato placed a hand on his head. You're doing a great job as a shinobi so far, and I believe that you'll become the Hokage one day. Minato said and went through some hand signs before placing his hand on Naruto's seal. What did you just do? Nar asked. I gave you back the other half of the 9 tails. Other than me having a hunch that I should split it up, I also didn't think your body at the time of the sealing would be able to withstand the full power of the 9 tails. I can see now that I failed to take into account that you'd inherit the Uzumaki's humongous chakra reserves. Since you're about to tame the 9 tails, I figured it's best if you had the full power for when you eventually fight that man in the mask. Minato said, thanks, but I'm not taming the 9 tails. We've decided to become partners and work together. Nar said, it wants to work with you. It treated me like the plague. Kusha said, from what I've been told, you were the exact same way. Nar said, and Kusha sheepishly smiled. When you put it that way, it makes me seem evil. Kosa said, and they started to fade. Looks like our time is up. While it was only for a short period of time, it's been a blessing getting to know my son. Minato said, wait, we can't leave yet. We have to help him with the 9 tails. Kosa said, look at him, Kosa. He doesn't need our help. From what I'm looking at, he's probably a Kage level shinobi already. Minato said, but I just need a little bit more time, Kusha said. I'm sorry, Kusha. This is all the time we had, Minato said. And Kosa started to cry. Don't worry, Mom. I'll be fine. At least I finally got to meet you after all these years, Nar said, and they had a group hug. You better take care of yourself and to Yuya. Do you understand me? Kusha asked. I hear you, Mom. Nar said, we believe in you, Nar. And we'll always be watching over you, Minato said. And they went away, but he heard them say they loved him one last time. I love you, too, Mom and Dad. Nar said, Ninetales Kage. Where the hell did you disappear to? The Ninetales asked. I had to talk to some very important people. Naro said, must have been the Shinigami since I felt the other half of my chakra return. The Ninetales said, something like that, but we should hurry. Nar said and unlocked the cage. What's the rush? The Ninetales asked. I'm hungry, Nar said. And the Ninetales just looked at him. I see. Now you must separate my chakra from me. We won't have the full synchronization since you're separating my chakra. But once I regain my chakra, we can try the full-tailed beast transformation. You'll have to get used to the amount you are about to receive right now. The rest will come later as I just said. The Ninetales said, all right, Nar said. He grabbed onto one of the tails with his own chakra and started to pull. This was a battle of willpower and Nar had that in spades. However, the Ninetales chakra started to gain control, nearly taking over Nar. However, Naruto was stubborn and refused to fall to the overwhelming amount of chakra. With newfound strength, Nar managed to separate the Ninetales chakra and absorbed it into himself. That was tough. I can't believe you had that much chakra. Nar said, now that you have my chakra, you need to learn how to control it. There's also one last thing we need to do. The Ninetales said, what's that? Naruto asked and the Ninetales held out his fist to Nar. My name is Kurama, the Ninetales said. Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze. Nar said and bumped fists together. Now go. I must gather my chakra again to regain what you have separated from me. Kurama said. And when Naruto left his mindscape, the cage never closed on Kurama who just laid down. Real world. Nar returned to the real world and saw that the sun was setting. He decided to get up and start making him some food. But then a seal appeared in front of him. He sighed and figured he wouldn't be eating anytime soon, so he placed his hand on the seal to see what would happen. Almost instantly, the seal reacted to him, and the shrine he was standing on started to twist until it revealed a hidden staircase. Not seeing anything wrong about this, Nar decided to walk down the stairs and find out what was down there. As he was walking, seals on the wall started to glow and they were feeding off of his chakra, but it wasn't much. He made it to the bottom of the steps and saw a door with faded writing on it. In order to access the vault, one must have either the red key of energy or the green key of nature. Only the blood of a true descendant may enter. Red key of energy. Oh my sword, Nar said. Naruto took his sword and stabbed it into a slot on the door. Then felt an enormous amount of his chakra leave his body. The chakra went into a seal on the door that started to glow and lasted for about 15 seconds until a clicking sound was heard. Once the clicking noise was heard, the chakra that came from Naruto went back into his body and the door opened. Once inside, the door closed and sealed itself shut. But that's when Nar noticed the same fox from before looking at him. Okay, I'm in here. So now what? Naruto asked and the fox pointed its nose to a seal on the wall. Of course, Naruto said, and when he channeled chakra into the seal, an old man appeared in front of him. I wonder who he is, Nar thought. And then the man spoke. Who are you, young one? It is obvious you were able to enter the Uzumaki shrine. The old man said, I'm Naruto Uzumaki. Who are you? Nar asked. A Blondumaki. The old man asked. I'm half Uzumaki. My mother was an Uzumaki. Nar said then she must have been one of the survivors. What was her name? The old man asked. Kusha Uzumaki. Nar said Kusha, you say. Then it is an honor to meet you, Nar. My name is Asha Uzumaki. I was the clan head of the Uzumaki clan, but to you I am your great-grandfather. Asha said, what? Nar asked, did you not hear me? Shall I give you the talk about how babies are made? Asha asked, hell no. I mean, as far as I knew, my mom never said anything about her family or told me when I talked to her in the seal. Nar said, in your seal, are you a gentry? Asha asked, yeah, I have the 9 tails inside of me. Nar said, then what happened to Kosa? She was sent to Konoha to become the 9 tails gentry when Mido Uzumaki was on her deathbed. Asha said, she died the day she gave birth to me. Somebody ripped the 9 tails out of her after she gave birth since the seal weakened and she died protecting me from the wrath of the 9 tails. My father managed to seal some of their chakra inside of my seal to meet me, and right before I met you, I talked to them. Nar said, I see. While I am saddened to know that my granddaughter has passed away already, I am glad to see that the Uzumaki clan lives on. However, it seems you are not the only Uzumaki alive. Asha said, well, I already know about Granny Sunade, but she's the only other one, right? Nar asked. No, these seals on the table in front of you represent the number of Uzumaki still alive. As you can see, there are 4 seals lit up, which means there are 2 more Uzumaki alive out there, but one of them is faded, which means that Uzumaki is about to die. However, you can locate them by getting the tracking seal placed on your hand to signify your status as clan head. Asha said, how do I do that? Nar asked. Place your hand on the table and the mark will appear. Asha said, sounds simple enough. Nar said and placed his hand on the table. I'm surprised you're not asking how I am here. Asha said, you're a chakra construct. You sealed some of your chakra away in hopes of passing on the Uzumaki secrets to a member if any of them were still left. Nar said and looked at the seal on the back of his hand. You are correct. The Uzumaki clan secrets are very sought out in the world and must be kept in a safe place. I will entrust them to you for safekeeping in Konoha, Asha said. And then a huge scroll appeared that caused every seal in the room to disappear. What happened to all of the seals that were in the room? Nar asked. They are all within this scroll. Before the Uzumaki clan was wiped out, we gathered everything about our clan and stored it in this room. Some may call it paranoia, but we all knew that we would be ambushed sooner or later. We just didn't think it would be because of our own allies. Asha said, yeah, I know Danzo sold you all out to Kumo, Kiri, and Iwa. Nar said, Danzo may have sold us out, but he wasn't the one calling the shots. The Hokage at the time, Hiruzen Sarutobi, gave him the order to wipe us out. Hiruzen was upset because we refused to join in a war which was part of our agreement. While the Uzumaki were strong, we did not fight unless we were provoked. Mido Uzumaki made sure to look out for her clan before she married Hashiyama Senju. I knew that, and when we declined, he grew upset. When the Third Shinobi War was at a slow point, Hiruzen asked for us to send over some Uzumaki to boost their defenses, but no one wanted to go because at this point, nobody trusted Hiruzen or Danzo since we spotted Konoha root Ambu trying to sneak past our defenses, but we quickly killed them. Asha said, I'm guessing that when no Uzumaki showed up and when the Abu didn't return, that's when they decided to kill you. Naruto said, you are correct. Around that time is when we started to store away all of the Uzumaki clan secrets. Our clan did fight until the very end and I was the last one remaining. However, before I could continue fighting, all 3 forces from Kiri, Kumo, and I pulled the rest of their remaining troops out since they already lost more than what they would gain. With the rest of my strength, I completed this room and stored my chakra away for this very moment before I succumbed to my wounds and died. Asha said and pointed to a skeleton off to the side that was holding a sword. I knew the Uzumaki were strong, but I didn't think we were that strong. Naruto said and Asha chuckled. Yes, while they preferred quantity, we preferred quality. Each of our Uzumaki members were vastly outnumbered, but we still managed to take out nearly 75% of their army thanks to our Kenjutsu and Fujutsu skills. Asha said, I can tell. There's still blood on the green key of nature. Nar said and pointed at the sword. Yes, the green and red keys are not meant to be used in battle, but they are powerful if you should use one of them. Asha said, why did my mom have the sword? Nar asked. The clan heir is always gifted the red key while the clan head possesses the green key. I'm surprised she was not in possession of both swords. I was kind of hoping to see my granddaughter again. Asha said, I think she was planning on coming back here. Naruto said, how do you know? Asha asked. There's a seal that was created by Mido Uzumaki to connect Konoha to Yusuzukure. It was hidden in the head of the first Hokage on our Hokage monument. The Nenettles said that it was my mother who completed it, but I was the first one to use it. The sword is what guided me to it. Naruto said, you must destroy that seal when you return to your home. While this was the home of the Uzumaki clan once upon a time, it no longer is. Asha said, well, I highly doubt anything was going to be left after I'm done here. I was planning on using this place to train for a bit. Nar said, then perhaps it's a good thing this place is already destroyed. Uzumaki tend to get a bit destructive when training. Asha said, and Nar chuckled. I guess you're right. I've got a few destructive jutsu in my arsenal. Nar said, we have a few moments left before my chakra is out. Tell me, do you possess any of the Uzumaki abilities? Asha asked, well, I have the talent in Fu and Jutsu, the sensor ability. I can suppress my chakra, so I'm undetectable and I have the Hishigan. Nar said, ah, the Hishigan. I'm curious as to how you unlocked it. Asha said, rough childhood due to the village knowing I was a gentry. Nar said, and Asha nodded. I can understand why you've awakened it. How long ago have you unlocked it? Asha asked. About 3 years ago, Nar said. I see, Asha said and activated his Hishigan. Cool. I'm guessing you're able to cast genjutsu with it. Nar said that I am, Asha said and started to fade. I guess our time is up. Nar said it would appear so. My great Granon, please reunite the Uzumaki clan in Konoha. One thing about the Uzumaki clan is that we value family above everything. You may have people in your life who aren't Uzumaki by blood, but if they're family, then they are part of the clan. Asha said, don't worry, old man. I'll reunite the Uzumaki clan. Naruto said, and Asha chuckled. Kusha always called me old man. I guess it's only fitting that her son does as well. Take care, Nar, Asha said and faded away. Well, I guess that's over with, Nar said as he grabbed the green key and destroyed the seal on the wall before exiting the room. Now that you've found what you're looking for, it's time to train. Kurama said, shouldn't I go and report this to Graniad? Nar asked. You've only been gone for a few hours. She never gave you a timetable for this mission. You still have to train with your new jutsu and how to use my chakra properly. Kurama said, you're right. Plus, Tuya has my kunai for emergencies. Nar said and got to work. You should work on your chakra control as well. Kurama said, I've done every exercise you can think of. Nar said, then combine them. There are multiple ways to combine them. If you gain better control of your chakra, then your new Rinnegan would become easier to use since you won't require a shadow clone to help you. Kurama said, fine, Naruto said. Few days later, Uzumaki was in an even worse state than it was before. Almost everything was reduced to rubble thanks to Nar and his shadow clones using the place as a training ground. There were giant craters everywhere that made it seem like a meteor hit, which wasn't the case. In addition to working on his Rinnegan, Naruto was also working on his Fujutsu skills for the horizon. From what his dad left in the notes, he was able to place a horizon marker on somebody with a simple touch, and Naruto was determined to surpass his father. His training with Kurama's chakra was going well, but he needed more training with it. Guess it's time to head home. If I'm gone any longer, Tuya will kick my Nar said. You should hope not. With me still regaining my chakra. You'd be in pain for a while until you're able to fully heal. Kurama said, it's taking you this long to recover your chakra. Nar asked, I have more chakra than you can fathom. I have more chakra than 2 villages combined. Kurama said, I guess that makes sense. Nar said and then he felt a pull. Looks like there's an emergency. Kurama said, yeah, I know. Nar said and vanished. Land of Fire. These two are tough, Tuya said as she was with Team 10 fighting 2 Akatsuki members known as Kakuzu and Hedon. They're S-rank criminals for a reason. Shikamaru said, my question still remains though. Why was Asuma-sensei burned when nothing happened to him? Ino asked, I don't know. I'm still trying to figure it out. Shikamaru said, hey, chain smoker, let Ino heal those burns before they become permanent. Tuya said, I don't think I can fix him. These burns look too severe for me. Ino said, that's because they're fresh. You can heal them if you stop dragging your Tuya said. You shouldn't really swear at us, Tuya. We are your teammates. Choji said, shut up. The only reason I'm still here is because of Ino and the chain smoker. You and the lazy bum can kiss my for all I care. Tuya said, enough talk. It's time to die. Hedon said as he was standing inside of a circle. There you go. Asuma-sensei. Ino said. Asuma nodded and prepared a chakra blade before running towards Hedon. Before Asuma could reach him, Hedon stabbed himself in the leg causing Asuma to fall to the ground. The others looked in shock as to what happened and the Hedon spoke up. Hurts, doesn't it? I didn't even hit a vital spot, but that kind of pain is the best. Hedon said, what the is going on? Tuya asked, his injury is the same as that guy's injury. Ino said, that's it. Tuya said, where do you want to feel pain next? Your arms, your legs. How about we just end it already? Hedon asked, lazy bum. Use your shadow strangle jutsu. Tuya said, I'm already on it, Shikamaru said and barely stopped Hedon from stabbing himself again. Good job, Shikamaru. Choji said, you think you can stop me? Hedon asked and tried to move. Ino, how long has it been since we called for that backup? Tuya asked, it's been nearly 20 minutes. If I had to guess, we have another 20 minutes until backup arrives. Ino said, we don't have time for that. Tuya said, it's the best we can do. We're all low on chakra, and I just used what I had left to heal Asuma-sensei. We need to stall for time somehow. Ino said, if this is going to drag on, I can help. I can't let a cash cow get away. Kuzu said, I told you to stay out of it, didn't I? Now out. I don't need your help. I can handle it. Hedon said, we're lucky the other one hasn't started fighting yet. We'd be dead in moments. Just one of them is giving problems. Even so, what do we do? Ino thought. So, he's the one that's preventing Hedon from moving, Kakuzu said as he looked at Shikamaru. Hey, lazy bum. Have you come up with a plan yet? Tuya asked. I'm still working on it. Shikamaru said, we're in the middle of a fight with one more that hasn't even started to fight yet. You really want to take your time. No wonder your teammates come back injured on all the missions you were the leader on, Tuya said and pulled out Naruto's kunai. Sorry, but I can't let you interfere. Asuma Seru Tobi is my bounty, Kakuzu said and got ready to attack Tuya. Off, Tuya said and threw the kunai at the ground by Hedon. You missed, Hedon said as he felt Shikamaru's jutsu slip. No, I didn't, Tuya said. And then Hedon was kicked out of the circle. What the hell was that? Ino asked. Our backup to Yuya said. You called. Nar asked. Yeah. Help us kill these. Tuya said, sure, just give me the rundown really quick on these two. Nar said, alright, the white-haired one has some jutsu that allows him to inflict damage to himself, but it doesn't harm him, and instead it harms whoever's blood he swallowed. The other one with the mask hasn't fought yet. Tuya said, I see. So, we have somebody that worships Jashin and an unknown. Alright, sounds easy enough, Nar said and cracked his neck. Who the are you? Hedon asked. He's the Ninetales Jingerki. Narusuaki Kakuzu said. That's me. Shikamaru. How much chakra do you have left? Nar asked. I'm low. Shikamaru said and then caught a soldier pill. Eat that and take the Jashin guy away from here. He may seem immortal, but he's not. I studied them a bit while I was out training with Jiraiya. He can die from malnourishment, but you need to find a way to keep him down for a while. Naruto said and Shikamaru nodded. Today must be my lucky day. I get 2 bounties and I'm going to capture a Jingerki. Kuzu said, sorry, but you only have 1 minute left to live. Shikamaru, get going with Hedon. Take Asuma with you since he can fight in close to mid-range and avoid letting him get some of your blood. Naruto said and destroyed the circle on the ground. I'll kill you first, Hedon said and ran at Naruto, who was unfazed. But Shikamaru used his shadow possession jutsu to stop him. Sorry, but you're coming with me, Shikamaru said and ran off with Hedon following him. You better hurry the up, Kakuzu, Hedon said as they were gone. So Kakuzu, I'm sorry to inform you of this, but you'll be dying today. Nar said kick his Nar to Yuya said she seems to have a lot of faith in you. Kuzu said, it's not faith. It's called confidence. Nar said, I was going to let some of you live, but you have fresh young hearts, and I can use them. Kuzu said and ripped of his cloak, revealing 4 masks on his back. What the hell is that? Ino asked. Now I remember who you are, Kuzu of the 5 hearts. I heard that you fought the first Hokage and failed miserably. Your 4 masks on your back represent hearts that you can use to replace your actual heart if you die in battle. You're using the forbidden jutsu Earth Grudge Fear. You take the hearts of people you defeat in order to extend your life. Nar said, that's disgusting. Tuya said, yeah, I mean, why would you even want a dead person's heart? Ino asked, because he's a sick son of a _, that's why. Tuya said, you may have figured out my technique, but it's no use to you. All of you will die today, Kuzu said and transformed. You've got to be kidding me. Tuya said as she saw Kuzu's new look. He looks like a human rag doll. Ino said that's exactly what he is. Tuya said, you might want to stand back. This can get a bit destructive, Nar said. And Tuya took notice of his hand. What happened to your hand? Tuya asked. I was finishing my jutsu. Nar said as he created some shadow clones and everyone watched as Naruto started to create his jutsu. What is that noise? Ino asked. Listen that sound. It's so much chakra. Choji said interesting. Now what? Kuzu said as Naruto finished his jutsu. Now you get to be my guinea pig. Nar said what is that jutsu? I can't let it hit me or I'll be finished. Kuzu thought wind style. Renshuriken. Okay, here we go. Let's finish this. Nar said and ran at Kuzu with his clones. I'm going with him, Shoji said. No, stay away from it. You'll just get caught, too. Ino said. Nar and his clones ran at Kuzu with his clone, and they all ran in a zigzag motion. One jumped in the air with a kunai as the other 2 stayed on the ground. Kuzu used his threads to kill the clone in the air, and then he used a fire and wind jutsu to destroy the other 2 clones. Kuzu left his back open and Naruto tried to hit him with his jutsu, but it disappeared. And when Kuzu saw this, he tried to grab Naruto with his threads, but Naruto used the horizon to get away from him. When you said recent, I figured you'd throw it or something. Shoji said, I don't have the control over it yet to throw it at an opponent. I have to slam it into him as a close-range attack. Nar said, then maybe you should try something else. Ino said, yeah, you see that speed he had. You were barely able to escape him. He's too fast for you to hit him quickly before the jutsu burns out. He's already planning for you to use the same move. Shoji said, that's a bunch of underscore. I could hit him quickly, but I'm just tired. I came here straight from training myself into the ground. The jutsu burns out so quickly because I haven't made it dense enough. That's why when I get the density down, I'll be able to throw it and make it last for however long I want it to. Nar said and stood up. It appears the boy's jutsu is useless so long as I keep my distance. So, I just have to avoid close combat. Don't let myself get distracted by the clones and keep my eye on the original. Alright, that should be simple enough. Kakuzu thought, okay, let me try this again. Nar said, come on, he's an Akatsuki member. If you repeat the same move, he's just going to dodge it. Ino said, yeah, it won't work. Let's work together. Shoji said, no, let him do it. Go on, Naruto. Tiyuya said, are you crazy? Ino asked, yes. Tiyuya said, so, what now? Kuzu thought, look, I know teamwork is important in Konoha, but right now I need to cross this bridge and cross it alone. If I can't work my way to the other side, I'll just be a kid forever. Don't take away my chance to prove what I can do. I need to see if I'm closing the gap between me and my dad, Nar said as he pictured Minato walking ahead of him. And the huge gap between them was the difference in their power. It's up to you guys. I'm letting him do it because I believe in him. Tuya said, fine, go on, Nar. Ino said, yeah, go get him, Nar. Choji said, you can do it. Ino said, Nar him up. Tiyuya said, right, Nar said and walked forward. So, he's going to try again. Is he? Well, then I'd better shift to a long-range attack style, Kakuzu thought and transformed again. What the hell is that? Ino asked. That's not just a transformation. It's a huge amount of chakra. Tiyuya said he's preparing for Naruto's jutsu. Ino said, come on, Nar, you can do this. Tuya thought and grabbed her necklace. Shadow clone jutsu. Nar created 3 clones and they made the recent again. All 4 of them ran at Kuzu who ran and jumped in the air. He flew over the shadow clones and hit the Nar was furthest in the back with his threads. He was surprised when he went up in smoke and then heard a screeching noise from behind him. Yeah, Tuya yelled. Gotcha, underscore, Nar yelled. Nar slammed the recent into Kuzu's back and he was sent flying away. Eventually, the jutsu exploded and created a huge shock wave that nearly blew everyone away. The recent created countless microscopic wind blades that started to severely damage Kuzu, and he could do nothing but face the pain. Eventually, all of his masks were destroyed and the jutsu started to die down, but you could still see the tiny wind blades cutting up his body. That jutsu is awesome, Tuya said as the body of Kuzu fell out of the sky and hit the ground with a thud. Whoa, Shoji said. Awesome, Ino said. And then everyone looked at Nar who was on the ground with a tired smile on his face. Hey, he's not moving. He's still down, Ino said. Nar, Tuya said, and they both ran over to him as he was trying to get up. Stay still, Nar. I'm going to heal you as best as I can. Butsunade will have to do the rest, Tuya said, and he nodded. Thank you, Nar said. That was some jutsu, Naruto. Who would have thought that the real you was hidden among the clones? Ino said, I'm surprised you could pull off that jutsu 2 times in a row. You were barely able to add the wind chakra to your Rinnegan during training. Tuya said, I should be able to do it more than that, but I've been training basically non-stop for almost a week now. Nar said, well, I completed the Rinnegan and used it on the other guy, but it didn't do much since he couldn't die. Tuya said, that's good that you finished it. I'll help you with your other one when we return to the village. Nar replied and walked over to Kuzu defeated by a pack of BRZ. Incredible, Kuzu said as he laid on the ground motionless. You did fight the first Hokage. It's no wonder you see us as BRZ, but it cuts both ways. In my eyes, you're just an old man whose time is over, and so here you are dying. One by one, my generation will catch up to you, and in the end, will surpass you, Nar said, and finished Kuzu off by stabbing him in the head with his ice sword. Jutsu. Nar, it's time to head out. Choji said, let's go. Nar said, and they all jumped away, meeting up with Asuma and Shikamaru along the way. So, what happened? Asuma asked. Nar killed that guy with one move. He has this super awesome cool new jutsu. Ino said, a new jutsu and it's that powerful. What's it called? Asuma asked. It's the wind-style Renshuriken, the finished version of the Rasen. Naruto said, I see. Asuma said, Shika, what happened to Hedon? Shoji asked. He's buried deep in the ground in multiple pieces. He's being watched by the deer in the forest, so he's not going anywhere. Shikamaru said. Yeah, he's done for. By the way, thanks for the sage back there, Nar. Asuma said. No problem. Karana would kill me if I met you die, and you know why. Naruto said and Asuma smirked. I guess you're right, Asuma said and they picked up the pace. Hokage Tower. Well done everyone. But it's not time to celebrate just yet. Not when there are still more members of the Akatsuki at large. Nar, the injuries I read that you had before you arrived here. Tsunade said, and Naruto cut her off. I know, Nar said. All right, then. For the rest of you, I order you to take a few days off. Give your minds and bodies a rest. Got it. Dismissed. Except Narunade said. And everyone left except Yuya. What is it, Granny? Nar asked. I want to put that jutsu in the Forbidden Scroll. Forget it. That would mean I have to detail on how to make it and tell how to make the Rinnegan as well. I'm not doing it. Label it an S-ranked kyutsu, but it's not going in the scroll. Nar said, I figured you'd say that. However, I don't want you using it until you can throw it like you said. Too much cell damage to your arm and you may never use that arm again. Said, okay. Nar said, now, what did you find in Uzushiok? Asked, and he unsealed the scroll he had. This is the scroll containing everything about the Uzumaki clan and two swords as well. I also talked to my great-grandfather while I was over there. Nar said, your great-grandfather, who was he? Tuya asked. Asha Uzuaki, otherwise known as the Uzumaki clan leader, Naruto said. And then told Tsunade everything they talked about. So Uzushioka is no more. Aide asked, yeah, oh, and I also talked to my mom and dad. Nar said, how? I thought they were dead. Said, they are before they died. My dad sealed some of their chakra into my seal so they could meet me. They showed up when I was about to take the Ninetales chakra. Nar said, you mean to tell me that instead of coming back after a few hours, you decided to stay there for an extra couple of days? Asked, well, you never gave me a time on how long the mission would take. Tuya had my kanai for any emergency. Naruto said, Yan, it's a good thing I had it. We wouldn't be alive if it wasn't for that damn thing. Tuya said, are you able to fully use the Ninetales chakra? Asked, yeah, but I still need more training with it. Kurama is teaching me how to make a tailed beast ball. Nar said, who the is Kuramama? Tuya asked, I'm with her on this one. Said, that's the Ninetales' actual name. We're partners now and we'll be working together from now on. Naruto said, what happened to your seal? Asked, nothing. It's still there. I just unlocked it. I can summon him from the seal without dying, but he's still recovering the chakra I took from him. Nar said, just don't summon him in the village. You two can leave. So said, come on, lover boy. Let's go take a shower. Tuya said, and they vanished. Unknown area. So Hedon and Kuzu both failed. Pain asked, yes, it seems the Ninetales Jingurai took out Kuzu himself while Hedon lost to Asuma Sarutobi. A man in a mask said, what will we do now? Conan asked. I'll personally go to capture the Ninetales, Pain said, and his Rinnegan started to glow in the darkness of the room. So guys, what do you think about this Naruto story? Tell me your opinion in the comments. And if you want more Naruto What If stories, make sure to subscribe to Universe of Naruto. Thanks for watching.